and I'm just testing the waters about going live. Hopefully the video is clear. Last time I went live, it was horrible video. So I don't know if it's because of the reception I had and I wasn't on Wi-Fi and I was on the phone network. Anyway, I'm using the thumbnail to this video is going to be a comment by a guy who's sitting here calling me a liar, which is showing how stupid my gender is. And all the haters that I got out there. So I'm a dad who won in court. I'm sharing information that costs you thousands with an attorney. Sometimes my tone, or a lot of times my tone, is grow some balls, be a man, and fight, because it's not easy in this uphill battle of the corrupt court system. And guys don't like that because they feel entitled to their kids. Yes, you have an automatic right to your kids. Why do you act like total divas who think they should get whatever they want in a corrupt world? You're not the first group of people, you men in America or in Western civilization, you're not the first group of human beings who ever suffered discrimination or a problem. Yes, it's traumatizing. Yes, it's shocking. But that's the way that it is. And it's this way because men sat around on their rears and didn't do anything about feminism and the feminist movement. And we laid back and let them run us over. And we still do. And all we do is whine, cry, piss and moan and go to a father's rights movement meeting and cuddle with a bunch of other guys and cry and pout it out. Instead of growing some balls. And when I go down and protest at the courthouse, I'm the only one there. And I'm protesting other people's bad rulings. The parents that I'm working with don't even want to protest their own judge. I go and do it, and I get the judge to make a better ruling the next time they have somebody else. That's the insanity of the people I'm dealing with. So this guy, I forget his name. I put his @ for YouTube. And this is a punk, a biatch, little fruity, little feminine hater of mine. I don't know who he is or where he came from. So in the video, he comes on and lies because he's so stupid. You ever argued with somebody who misunderstood something and you're right and they're wrong, and they're arguing with what a liar or how crazy you are because they're so stupid they don't understand the concept? That's what this guy did. So I'm going to put a link in the video. It may not be up right away because I'm out at a spot in my truck. I may have to put the link up after this uploads. But this guy basically said, he went on my video where I said, when cops say this, they say it's just a civil matter, I'm not going to deal with it. You call the cops for somebody withholding your child and stuff. He gets in the comments, he says, I got a text message from James. It proves this and that. And he sounds like 9 out of the 10 guys who text me, want some free information, and they're such a punk little lazy, shiftless, limp-wristed little bum. They don't want to get real help on their case. They don't want to fight themselves. They want to hire an attorney because they've had mommy rescue them their whole lives. And then here I am saying you can win without an attorney, but you got to grow some balls and put some effort forward. They don't like that, so they want to hate on me like a diva little feminine middle school girl cheerleader, the way they gossip with one another. So this guy says, James is lying, I got a text to prove it. I remember talking to somebody just today. Maybe it's that guy, maybe it's a guy a while ago. But I have a video where I say, when you call the cops and say, hey, they're withholding the child from me, and the cops go, oh, it's a civil matter, and your state happens to be one of the very few states that have a law on parental kidnapping. Most states don't. But if you're in Washington, you have custodial interference. Or Georgia has parental kidnapping, but usually they enforce that against men because they have a law that assumes custody to the mother before a court order. But there's a couple of states that have custodial interference. Now, you're not going to win custodial interference. I'm already realistic about that. I didn't break that down. But let's say you're in Washington, RCW 98.40. Go read it yourself because this guy's calling me a liar, and he's so stupid he can't do his own research. So he misinterprets something, and then he gets his rocks off and gets sexually aroused because that's what gay stalker haters do. So, and then he's hiding behind some page that doesn't even exist. And maybe this one guy, his name's Peterson, he was a psychologist for the Father's Rights Movement, and he says I'm a sociopath and he doesn't like what I'm saying, even though I help guys win. He got kicked out of the Father's Rights Movement group, I think, and fired as their counselor. And he thinks that, and he's been advising men to lay down and just follow the lead of a guardian ad litem, follow the lead of a psychologist, follow the lead of the court. So he's a punk ass, be-made sellout. Could be that stalker guy. God, I forgot his first name. So I don't even remember who my haters are because I don't really give a damn. I'm out here helping guys win. But I do got to deal with a bunch of crybaby, whining, crying babies who were like, oh, I can't do it. I can't fight. Just think if you had a kid who every single day said, I can't clean my room. I can't clean the bathroom. They already did it before. There's kids younger than them doing chores at their house, and they're telling you they can't do it. I've had thousands of guys win in court without an attorney, and these guys are saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. It hurts my feelings. My poor little sweet, precious little heart is frustrated because, and it's flustered because it's so hard to do this. Well, your little punk diva tail can grow some balls because women were second-class citizens, and look where they are now. Japanese citizens were thrown in concentration camps. Black people were hosed down and bit by dogs when they tried to act like they're free. You got your kids in your house and your money taken away from you, but they didn't sick any dogs on you. So why are you such a prissy little diva biatch where you're entitled to just everybody come rushing to help you? Because you were raised by a single mom and you're a feminine little fruity coward and you've never fought for anything in your life or stood up for yourself. And so you want somebody to come rescue you. And you see me win and you think I should wave a magic wand and come rescue you and fix everything. I'm empowering guys to grow some balls and fight. Just like a personal trainer is empowering you. Hey, here's a routine. Go do this. They might meet up with you a couple times and encourage you to do it, but you have to stick with the routine. They're not going to come to your house and babysit and lift your arms for you or lift the weights for you. That's not what I'm here doing. I got enough people already nagging me and draining me and wasting my time. Today, I got 2 hours of sleep last night. I woke up to meet a client in person 15 minutes before I was getting ready to walk out the door. The place is 10 minutes away because I work from home. So if people want to meet, I meet them at a Starbucks or a particular place. I call him and said, are we still meeting? He picks up the phone. He's at a job saying, oh, I'm busy. I picked up a job. Can we do it tomorrow? The guy wasn't even going to call me and tell me that he was going to be a no-show. That's my freaking gender that I have to deal with all the time. And you punk ass crybabies are like, oh, James is on YouTube and he hurts my feelings. Don't watch the channel, bitch. You are the reason why the court system is the way that it is. The coward sissy bitches, like the hater I'm talking about now, or guys that are so stupid you can't read or pay attention or absorb something. You don't want to exert any brain cells to figure stuff out or to learn stuff or pay attention to it. So you reject what I say and you want some other kind of answer. It's either you're all in or not. I'm going to post a YouTube short of a motivational speaker guy who's saying the same thing I do. So you guys act like I'm a Hitler out here and I'm the only one in the world telling people to grow some balls and take ownership of their life and change things. There's David Goggins. There's Cole Robinson from Snake Diet. There's the guy I'm going to post the video on. People are sick of guys being effeminate, fruity little simps. And that's how our society is, what our society has become. And now here I am giving you golden answers that would cost you thousands of dollars with an attorney. And I'm giving some answers for free. And if you want more detail, you need a paid consult. But guys are crying like little biatches that you have to pay pennies on the dollar compared to an attorney to get information from me that might save your life with your kid. That's how fruity and feminine and delicate my fruity. Now, I'm just thinking right now, I had a guy who got full custody of his daughter. Raised her for 10 years. Got full custody like when she was 8 years old. Child turned out great. He used to meet with me, and then he would talk about how frustrating it was, but he was willing to fight. There was several times he was crying. I didn't mind him crying because he wanted to do something. All you guys out here are crying and making excuses why you're not going to fight. Like you're going to change my mind into changing the physics of the universe and to changing the system, that the way that guys win, that I'm wrong and there's some other miraculous, easy way to do it, and a microwave button or a push button or a fast food drive-through way of doing it. That's easier than what I'm saying. No, it's not. You have to go through hell like I went through. But the more you go through hell, and the fact there's I forget what animal it is. It's a buffalo or an ox. When a storm comes, a buffalo, I think it's a buffalo, they walk into the storm and they go through the hell of the storm for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Cows run away from a storm. They're exhausting themselves. Eventually the storm catches up. And so the running away torments them. Then when the storm catches up, and if it sits on them for a while and doesn't pass, then it's worse, and the buffalo are already clear of the storm. I'm saying you need to jump head first into the storm and go at it. And most of the time, when you actually grow some balls and get on the offensive, the other side wilts and cowers and surrenders. But you want to dance around and play Mr. Nice Guy and play, let's try what the lawyer says for 4 or 5 years, and you get nowhere, and then you realize James was right, and all your criticisms of me were a sellout act to your own kid, because you could have been fighting almost every guy that gets on the offensive, goes to war from the beginning, wins something very significant or full custody or 50-50. Almost every guy. Most guys don't get a hold of me at the beginning of their case. So guys get a hold of me when they're behind the 8 ball and supervised visitation. When they get on the offensive, a lot of them do better. The guys who don't do what I say do, 100% of them lose. And I'm realistic with the odds and stuff. So anyway, let's get back to this video that I'm linking below, and you can go look at the comment. The guy said, James is a liar. He said, tell the cops this is a crime and a civil matter. If you got custodial interference, parental kidnapping, the mother's withholding the child. Now, the cops aren't going to press charges or do anything, but you can still push them a little bit and at least press charges. And you should also sue the mother in civil court. That's what I would do in small claims court. But most of you guys are punk-ass cowards who would never do that. But for the 1 out of 1,000 of you, I sued my baby's mom, her attorney, my judge in federal court. That case got dismissed because I couldn't serve the mother, so that's lingering. I could go back and finish that up. I went to small claims court against one guardian ad litem, against this chick that lied about me in court, and her husband, who was a roommate of mine, who was sitting there fighting for me to not see my kid. Those people never mess with me again. You guys will sit there and lay down and play Mr. Nice Guy, ignore it, say, you'll attack me and argue with me and blog about me and argue and make comments about me, put all this energy against me. And even if you win your argument with me, it doesn't help your case. But you won't exercise that same energy toward your baby's mom, and you're losing the case. Look at how stupid you are. I've already won my case. My daughter's 22. She lives with me. I've had a pretty good life with her. Except the early teenage years. That was crazy. I didn't have to go through it. Now, I went through hell when I went in and out of court for 20 years because the mom's attorney kept dragging me into court for relocation, child support, contempt. She tried 7 different times to get restraining orders on me and failed every time. But see, my hater, bitch, fruity gay boy, psycho stalkers who get the rocks off by thinking they win an argument with me, the guys who hate me, they would say, oh, you got 7 restraining order attempts. What's wrong with you? I won them and defended them. She abused the system against me, you stupid jackass. Anyway, so this guy says James is a liar. In this video, James is saying press charges and tell the cops it's a crime and civil. James told me I can't do anything because it's not a crime. Now, I don't know who exactly this guy is. But like I said, most states don't have a crime of withholding your kid from the other parent. Some do. I'm very specific in the video. If you have a law in your state that says this, then this is the way to talk to the cop. And then I also say, if we're talking about other crime, like cops will say it's a civil matter, the child is being physically abused or neglected. That's a crime also. And I'm telling guys how to talk to the cops on that. And this stupid jackass, the guy who made the comment, now his comment is going to be the thumb to this video. So you can see it, because he might delete it when I show how stupid he is. It's just crazy. I'm sitting here trying to fight the system, fight feminists, and I got to fight punk-ass bitch-made men who are arguing with me that what worked for me and thousands of other people doesn't work because they won't try it and they never tried it and they made a half-ass effort in court and they lost, so they think what I did won't work. That's like saying One day you ate cupcakes and Twinkies and cakes and all the stuff that's bad for you and didn't exercise. And then one day you did go to the gym and you ate clean and you didn't lose weight. And you're like, there's no way to lose weight. But your trainer told you to do that every day. And it works for everybody who does it. You're just in your own little delusional world, like a anorexic chick who looks in the mirror and sees a fat person. She just wants to believe she's fat, so she makes herself believe it. You want to have it easy because you're a punk ass bitch who can't fight for your kid. So you want to make an excuse why, because it's too inconvenient for you to get off your rocker because you want to watch Sunday and Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football and college football all day, and fighting for your kid interrupts that. Well, you don't love your kid. So get off my page, go to a father's rights movement meeting where they spoon each other and grind on each other and cuddle and snuggle and cry and sing kumbaya while the system never changes. Go to them. Don't come to my page. That's not what it's about. So the guy misinterpreted what I said and calls me a liar. To be more specific, like I was going, I'm getting all over the place because I got 20 haters saying stupid bull crap on why they can't fight when again, if this guy wins his argument, I already won. I got my kid. You're not winning anything with me. What do you think? You think I'm going to get me go to jail? What if you did think that you won your argument in your head? You're losing in your court case. I won in my court case. So you're back at square one and you won some argument with some YouTuber. All the while, me, James, is helping thousands of guys win. Go look at other comments on other videos. Guys are saying, go look at the Pearl interview. When I got interviewed by Pearl, redhead white lady, kind of pasty white lady who's in England, talking about men and fathers' rights and stuff. Look at all there's guys in there who said, this guy saved me in my divorce. This guy rescued me. This guy knows what he's talking about. I got testimony after testimony. Guys get 50-50 or full custody without an attorney or with an attorney because they light a fire under the attorney's butt. You're a little piddly aha, I got you, James. You lied in this video. No, you didn't, you stupid jackass. You didn't follow along. I was very clear. So, in Washington, RCW 98.40 says if you withhold a child from a parent with a protracted period of time with the intent of withholding the child permanently, that's custodial interference. It's a Class C felony the first time, or I think it's a gross misdemeanor the first time and Class C felony the second time. Now, it's only been prosecuted about 2 or 3 times that I've seen in about 30 years. One guy took off with his kid and hid the kid and changed the identity, went to Montana for 2 years and he got prosecuted. Now, he was rescuing his kid from a meth head cooking mother who has a boyfriend who was doing drugs also, and the child had asthma. So I don't mind the guy doing that. He's rescuing his kid. But you call the cops and you say, I want to press charges for custodial interference. The cops will say, it's a civil matter, go do contempt. It's a civil matter and a criminal matter in Washington state specifically. The guy who talked to me, he says he has a text message from me saying, and this is what I tell people just rely upon the cops to fix everything. It is mostly a civil matter. Your custody battle is a civil matter. Your restraining order is a civil matter. Contempt is a civil matter. It is a criminal matter when you have custodial interference or parental kidnapping, but they're not going to do anything about it in reality. They're not going to do anything about it in reality. But you still can try and press charges and check these cops and make them do something, because if the mother's withheld the child for what I really care about is weeks and weeks or months and months, and they're not pressing charges for custodial interference. If there's a law, but probably 80% of states don't have a law. And this guy's saying he's probably in a state that doesn't have a law. And he's saying, James is lying. He sat here and told me I can't do anything with the cops. If you don't have a law, you can't. Most guys will just call the cops and I'll say, well, where's the law? What law were you pressing charge? Oh, I don't know. And then you turn around and then you're arguing with me and you didn't even know whether there's a law or not. Anyway, it looks like I have some comments. Maybe people have some questions. Reconsideration hearing to start the new year, California. Good. I've been fighting for 3 years. I objected on psychological testing on me. I am being forced to undergo. Your comment cuts off. I don't know how to scroll this up. It won't let me scroll up. Let me see if it. Live chat. Let's see if. I am forced to undergo. Oh, okay, I guess that was your whole sentence. First of all, when it comes to psychological testing, I would tell the court, if the court is ordering your limited access to the kid while you undergo psychological testing, if you have a psychological issue, they're finding you guilty in acting and giving you a punishment. Think about it. If you're getting charged with murder, can the judge say, you know what, I'm going to sentence you to the death penalty in case you did it, or in case the jury finds you guilty? You have to wait until after they make a finding of fact. I have a video where I talk about the court has to make findings of facts. If you go to my YouTube channel and go to the main video above that, there's a magnifying glass. You could type in a topic: police, cops. Like I'm talking about this guy's video, this guy's stupid comment. I really shouldn't even waste my time with this, but when somebody comes on with some outlandishly stupid, hypocritical, and they make themselves look stupid, I gotta call them out for that, because that's what's wrong with my gender. We're sitting here doing a whole bunch of infighting. You got all kinds of balls and bravery to fight other fathers' rights advocates, but you don't have balls to call the child abusing mother a child abuser when it counts in court. You're a hypocritical piece of ish. You don't care about your kids because you're worried about how it'll look. I talked to a guy today. He's like, well, if I do that, how will it look to everybody? Why do you give a damn? Your life with your kid is on the line, you punk, sissy, cowardly bitch. Damn. See, all this stuff that I tell you guys, I was already doing before I had anybody encouraging me, talking to me. The guy who mentored me barely told me anything once I got a hold of him. I never got this kind of help and information. I just did it out of instinct and conscience. And I got to conjure you guys up to get your testicles to drop. And then then guys want a whole bunch of male affirmation because you didn't have a dad at home. Well, if I go to court, will I win? What will happen? What exactly is going to go on? What if somebody says this? And what if somebody says that? And they all think that. I've had guys repeatedly say, well, they think this about me. They say this about me. What kind of... Everybody talks all this smack in life about, I could care less, sticks and stones, might break my bones, names would never hurt me, and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, and then when it comes down to reality, what is everybody going to say or think or whatever? Go huddle up in a ball in a corner and look at your kid when they're 18 and say, I didn't fight for you because I was worried what everybody thought of me. Let's say everybody thinks you're a monster and you win custody of your kid. Why do you give a damn? The only reason you would is because you're a punk, thin-skinned, little sissy-ass bitch. And I have to call it that because that's what it is. And that's your number one obstacle, is the inner bitch like Joe Rogan talks about. See, you guys act like I'm some monster and there's nobody in society calling guys for being a bitch. David Goggins, this black dude, he's bald, clean face, clean shaven. He's, if you don't know who he is, just Google David Goggins and watch a couple of his videos. He'll have a guy call him and say, hey, I can't find motivation to get through law school. I can't find motivation to get in shape. I can't get up and do it. And he'll do a little thing where he said, you know what? I had the same problem you did when I was 80 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight. And I finally figured out what it was. And David Goggins is talking about himself. He was a Navy SEAL and he's run like multiple marathons, like 8 weeks in a row. He ran a marathon every weekend, all kinds of crazy stuff. And what he said was, I finally figured out what the root cause of my problem was, why I couldn't get off my rear and get motivated to move forward and lose some weight. He said, I was just being a bitch. That's what it is. The end. Fruity little feminine, single mom raised, punk little... I can't believe the guys... Now, some guys call me and say, you know what? I've been being a coward. I'm tired of it, James. I'm tired of being scared of my baby. At least they're honest. I don't knock somebody for being honest. I was a beta male most of my life. But when you want to argue with me and say it's something else, the system and my judge, and I'll say, well, you didn't fight the right way. Yeah, I did. What, did you do all the things I talk about? Did you always do some guy in here on the comments already said he's doing reconsideration. He listened to me. Did you do reconsideration? Do a deposition? You get on the offensive? You're going for full custody? You call the mother a child abuser, mentally ill, whatever? Did you ask for a psych eval on the mother? They asked for it on you. The answer is always no, no, no. Then you didn't fight the way that I'm telling you to fight. But guys want to argue with me. They don't even get a consult with me. And they want to argue with me about their imaginary world where they think they fought and they didn't. It's amazing. It's mind-boggling. I really should quit doing this because it's not good for my health to listen to all these haters all day long when I have winning answers and guys will say, no, I don't want to do that because they're sissy bitches. And I know I'm not going to reach everyone. If you don't want help, you don't want help. But why do you devote time acting like a fruity gay boy stalker, follow me around looking for everything wrong that I said? Why don't you follow your baby's mom around and see if she's dating a guy who's a child molester and go get your kid? You know, I've said this one before, the father's rights movement in Idaho. They had somebody on their page. A guy said, hey, man, I don't want to get my kid back. She's getting molested by my baby's mom's boyfriend. And I said, don't do it. And then some guy got on there and said, oh, he could get in trouble. And I said, based on what? So you're telling him he better give his kid back because he might get in trouble. And the kid's getting molested. So you're willing to let the kid get molested because of your little high horse on you should follow the law. So I said, show me the law, bitch. Because that guy's a sellout to kids because he's advising a guy in a father's rights movement group to hand over his kid to a child molester. And if it is against the law to do that, I'm going to go to jail for it. At least try and rescue my kid. So anyway, the guy took 30 minutes and he finally found the law because he's such a stupid, unread, low IQ retard that he never read the law himself. Because I read it and it says if you withhold the child in violation of a court order, you go to jail for this amount of time. And then if you look 3 sentences down, it says unless if you're doing it to protect the safety or welfare of a child. So there was an exception that applied to this guy, and this stupid punk little bitch made fruity gay boy who was scared of the law and the system is advising a dad to serve up his daughter to get molested. Because this stupid jackass couldn't read the law. That's the father's rights movement for you. That's 90% of men out there. And I'm sick and tired of it. And yeah, I'm outraged that the answer is for guys to grow some balls and fight. And they can win like I did. And I proved that I won. And I've had thousands of guys win. I stopped counting at 300, the number of dads who got full custody without a lawyer. And you dumbasses are sitting there arguing with me why you need a lawyer. It's enraging. If I sit here and show you a guy who was 300 pounds and now he's down to 180, and he took 12 months to diet and consistently walk every day or go to the gym or whatever, and I say, this works, why don't you try that? Oh, no, it can't work. I tried it for 2 weeks. You see how delusional and stupid that sounds? You got proof right in front of you that it worked for that guy, and maybe you have 100 other people that got on this program and it worked, and you say that can't work. It's you. It's not the program. So the guy is sitting here, some guy on here talked about a psychological evaluation. My argument would be, you're going to order a psychological evaluation to see or find out if I have a psychological problem. Then you're going to withhold the child from me in case I have a psychological problem. That's backwards. That's anti-due process. You don't sentence somebody to the death penalty in criminal court and say, when we go to trial next year, they might get found guilty. So I'm going to give you the death penalty now. You have to make a finding of fact first. If I sue a doctor for malpractice, he doesn't have to pay me $100,000 till a jury awards it to him. You can't preemptively conclude that I have a psychological problem just because the mother said so. And then you go in there and things like, I have a defense against restraining order packet where it talks about how women falsely accuse guys of all kinds of stuff all the time. If you go in there and you tell them and cite, and this thing has worked for countless guys, hundreds of guys fighting off protection orders, and the vast majority of men don't get this packet. They go in there and wing it. And after I told them about the packet, and after I told them what to do, they don't do what I say. And they say, James, I lost. I can't believe it. I went in and told the truth. I didn't tell you to just tell the truth. I told you to use these things that work for people. And you don't do it. And then you lose. And then you say, James, fix it. And it's too late. Anyway, if you go in and say, you can't conclude that I have a psychological problem before a psychologist, and then the mother's in here saying, oh, the father's got bipolar disorder, this and that. The mother can't testify and see if you got my evidence rule video, you would know what the evidence rules are. Or if you just Google them and study them and learn them yourself like I did. But if you don't understand and grasp them and your attorney's not telling you what they are and your attorney's not objecting to the evidence rule violations, that's your fault. It's your fault that you're losing. And that's what pisses me off the most. Most of the stuff is preventable. Just like somebody with diabetes, heart disease, they eat like crap all day long. If they change their diet, they could reverse their disease. There's some nutritionists who say 90% of disease in America could be prevented. Everything skyrocketed when we started processing foods. You know, in the 50s, nobody had a refrigerator. Everybody had a garden. We created processed foods out of World War II because they created chemical foods with preservatives so that soldiers would have food in the field. But they came back all disease and stuff. So here's an answer. You just don't want to do it. Then you want to blame something else. No, just blame yourself. Just say, I want to eat what I want to eat, and I don't care. Just be honest. Say, I don't want to fight for my kid. That's too much. And quit on your kid. Stop arguing with me, bitch. Anyway, there's some more questions here, I think. I've been fighting for 3 years. Got to keep at it. I objected on a psychological testing on me. Okay, so I kind of answered that. Did you object the way that I did? Like, I just did a video on preponderance evidence, clear, cogent, and convincing evidence. Do they have enough evidence to warrant concern? And you should counter and say, well, if I need a psych eval, the mother needs a psych eval. She's withholding the child from a father. Nobody in their right mind would do that, so she must be mentally ill. How are thousands of people not watching this live? Because nobody cares, dude. I had to realize this the hard way. Like, there are two guys who mentored me. One charged me $600 to do some paperwork, and I had to rewrite it. He was a hustler. He had some good information. He won custody of his kid. He told me the way that people usually win is the paper blizzard. It's what attorneys do. You bomb the crap out of the other side, and then you just relentless. And if you watch the movie Divorce Corp, Gloria Allred, who's a radical feminist man-hating attorney, she says what attorneys do is paper the other side to death until somebody surrenders. Or justice is how much ever justice you can afford. So she's admitting to stuff that I've kind of said and this guy said. You get on the offensive and you fight, you wear the other side down. And I'm not saying abuse the system or make up some reason to go to court. Just use all the things available to you. And usually that's 100 times more burdensome than the average case, because most guys are punk bitches who won't even try and accuse the mother of the child abuse she's committing. Like the law says, you can win if the mother's a child abuser, if she's an emotional or psychological abuser, if she lives with somebody who's violent, if she has a history of violence, if she has a history of mental illness, if she abuses the use of conflict, if she withholds a child. And you have all these things against her that are in the law, and you're going to a court of law with an attorney at law, and you won't cite those things that help you win. It's insane. I cited all that stuff right from the beginning. At first, I went for 50-50. Then the mother said the father wants to see the kid every day. We live right next to each other. I said, I can have her during the day while the mother's at work. How does that hurt you? You're at work. I'm the daycare. Then I can have Saturday, she can have Sunday. We can flip back and forth. And people say, oh my God, you're taking the kid away. You stupid jackass. We had a kid. Our life is over as we know it. We have to live an unselfish life now. You don't get the convenience of acting like you own the child. We broke up. It didn't work out. So for the sake of the child, we're going to have some inconvenient setups. That's what you should argue in court also. But nobody ever argues that stuff. Nobody ever thinks to like say, you just roll with it. Like the court says, well, the mother deserves every other weekend. Why? She had a kid with me and found me a great candidate to have a kid with. Why does everything have to be convenient for her? We now disrupted the child's structure and safety net and security and stability. Why do we have to cater to the mother's convenience and her desire for vacation time or free time or downtime? She created a kid. We have to revolve our life around the kid. And then the mother looks stupid because she's arguing against me being reasonable. And I'm like, why can't I be equally involved? And then I stopped giving her money. She said, well, James should be taking care of his fiduciary duty. And the judge said, are you saying he needs to pay you in order to see his kid? And she said, oh, I'm not saying that. And that's exactly what she was saying. See, I put the heat on and the pressure on so much that when she answered me, she had nothing but stupid excuses. You guys don't put any pressure on. The mother gets to stay silent because you're not even accusing her of anything. And she destroys you in court. She crucifies you, lies about you, attacks you. And what do? Like if you're in a box, how do you think Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson? Do you think he beat him by just covering his face and wearing Mike Tyson out? Or did a rope-a-dope like Muhammad Ali did against Foreman? No, he fought back. He punched. He got up when he got knocked down. And he kept punching. And he kept fighting until somebody was worn out or got knocked out. And you think going into a heavyweight world-class bout that you got a great left hook, an uppercut, and a jab, and you don't use any of that, and you cover your face, and you sit in the corner, and you hope Mike Tyson stops fighting and forfeits. That's how stupid your strategy is to not call a spade and not use the weapons that are available to you. And your dumb ass says, well, I don't want to attack the mother. That looks bad. Says who? The law says if the mother does this, that, and that, you should have custody. Why wouldn't you tell them that? You see how insane this stuff is? And I have to repeat it every single day and convince guys of this every single day. That's why I've cut back. I used to do way more. I used to talk nice and try and talk a guy out of his little puddle of tears that he's drowning in like a little bitch. But now I realize if you don't want to fight, you're not going to want to fight. I can't convince people to want to fight. The guys who are sick and tired of what's going on, they see my channel like, oh my God, somebody's speaking my language. Somebody, what he said resonated with me in my heart. I've been wanting to fight. I didn't know how to do it. I've been a bitch or I've been a coward. Let me call James. Boom. They start winning. Then the guy who's in the thumb, and I'll tag his username and I'll put the link in the video so you can comment. That little bitch is spending all his time and energy arguing with me about me being a liar because he didn't listen to my video and he misinterpreted some stuff or he made up some stuff that I didn't say. I never said every single state has a criminal case that you can press charges against. Like when I was talking to him, he says he has a text message where I said the cops can't do anything because it's not against the law. That's in his state. He's so retarded. See, my sister with Down syndrome can follow me and listen to me, and I can have conversations with her, and she hears me out. Grown men who are supposedly have testicles can't listen to me. You're so stupid, and the average person, like I have to talk to people in consultations all the time. I'll say, when was your court order put in place? Well, back 10 years ago, me and the mother were dating and we were talking about if we ever had to go to court, we would agree. I didn't ask that. I asked, what does your court order say? When was it put in place? Simple answer. And guys hear something and they don't listen to what I say and they get in their emotions. They want to tell the whole story. One thing you need to know for the sake of your own case, not even for me, because that is annoying as hell. I'll ask a question and they'll say, no, I'm asking this. Well, no, let me tell you. No, answer my question. I have people who call me up for an appointment and they want to ask me a quick question. I let it slide. It always turns into 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I ask them a precise question and they want to ramble on like a fruity little gay boy diva on Talk Soup on the entertainment channel because they got my ear for a second and they want to just yak and talk forever. And they don't listen to my question, and I'm trying to get to an answer, and all they want to do is talk because they want me to be their counselor, their pastor, their wife, their consolation, their little support group. That's not what I am. We're going to war. I'll teach you how to be a soldier and go to war. That's it. Now, if we meet in person and you win, we can hug and celebrate. Great. Like Kobe Bryant. He was up 2-0 in the championship. Some reporter asked him, hey, Kobe, you look so serious. Why are you not smiling? You're up 2-0. And he's like, is the job finished? And the reporter's like, what do you mean? He's like, is the series over? No. Then the job's not finished. I have a job to do, you stupid little fruity little weirdo. You want to celebrate that I halfway won? So anyway, this guy says, how are there not thousands of people watching this live? And there might be something that I'm doing wrong or whatever. You know, I used to get videos with 500 to a couple thousand. Now it's only a couple hundred. Maybe it's because I'm talking so harsh, or maybe they shadow ban me because of the stuff I say. Or there's too many gay boy snitches out there. The guy's name from the Father's Rights, if you ever see a Father's Rights Movement psychologist, counselor guy, his name is Peterson. I'm pretty sure it's Peterson. He's a total sellout. He tells you, listen to a guardian ad litem, follow the court's lead. So the court's corrupt. The courts are destroying fathers. And he's saying, follow the lead of everything that they say and do. And then he hates me. And I won in court. It's insane. Now, there's a difference between somebody jealous and mad and they're a hater, like, I don't like James's style or whatever. But there's people who literally hate me because after they tell me their stupid punk-ass reason why they quit on their kid, I'll say, well, you quit on your kid. Turn around and go and fight. And they don't like that, and they get triggered like a little diva bitch like most men are in society. And I'm not a fight. I haven't been in brawls and fight. I've been a beta male most of my life. I've loved women most of my life. I grew up with 3 sisters. My dad was there, but he wasn't really there. He was an alcoholic growing up. I was never taught how to be a man. But doggone it, when it comes to somebody stealing my kid, the alpha male is coming out. And I'm going to be like Simba in The Lion King. I'm going to have a come to Jesus meeting with my father in the clouds or with myself and say, wait a minute, that's my kingdom. Like in The Lion King, you know, Uncle Scar stole Simba's kingdom. He was the heir to the throne. Your kingdom is your kids. The father is the leader of the home. He's the protector. He's the head of the house. The wife or the baby's mom is Batman or is Robin. She's not Batman. She's the backup quarterback. She's not Tom Brady. If you have any mentality of yourself other than you are the king of your kingdom, you're a dumbass and you're walking in with a bad mentality. You should be offended that people don't bow down to you and say, oh, you're the father's family. We should cater and try and usher the children into a relationship with you. Even in The Lion King, the pride is ran by the alpha male. If intruders come, he protects. Radical feminists even got National Geographic effed up in the head where they say, oh, the females do all the hunting. No, they don't. You see plenty of videos of males doing the hunting and jumping in on it. They get a bad rap because they see females doing it sometimes. But if a female is about to be raped by an intruder lion who wants to take over the pride and kill all the cubs and start over, the alpha males defend the pride. When you're in a family and somebody breaks into the house, does everybody hide behind the wife or they hide behind the husband? Who's all the child molesters out there? Are they the biological father or the new boyfriend and the stepdad? It's the latter. When all I hear is people getting divorced, baby mama drama, it never stops. I know, right? And all people do is go get a lawyer. People see my stuff and they say, oh, I can't do that. That's unrealistic. Because they don't have the balls or patience to watch 5 minutes of my video or go look at my winning court orders. And they go to court and lose. And they lose again. Like, oh, let me get another attorney. Let me get another attorney. Let me get another attorney. I had a guy who had 3, 4, or 5 attorneys, something like that. He had at least 3. It might have been 5. And then he had trial coming up. And then he said, well, I really need an attorney for trial. He got screwed over by an attorney all the way. And he's saying, I can't afford to represent myself. I need an attorney because it's trial, the most important part. And I've had countless guys do trials on their own. This is the insanity of my gender. This is why half the time I'd rather deal with a woman because they'll listen to me and I'll have a fight from them fighting me about some other cowardly way to try and get this stuff done or alternate way. Wow, good way to connect with the customer. You don't understand what cream puffs you are dealing with. Your presentation is all wrong. There is a formula you want to be successful. So beyond Organics Farm, you do know what you are talking about, no doubt. Okay, then shut the hell up, you punk ass bitch. So according to you, I should just do videos like I do some videos where I just present this stuff. And then the problem and challenge with guys applying that stuff is they're scared or they have a fake fear that doesn't exist and they have a paranoia of their baby's mom and the baby's mom has been punking and controlling them and the answer is for them to grow some balls and you say when I tell them the solution is to grow some balls, you don't like my presentation. I don't give a damn what your dumbass thinks. I'm telling people what works. I've been doing this 23 years, you dumbass. When I was being nice the first few years and all professional and sweet, I still only got 1 out of 100 guys who had the balls to fight. So your stupid ass, punk ass advice that doesn't work. I don't care if I don't have any followers anymore, I don't care. I'll go get a real job and live a less stressful life. But I'm up here giving guys the solution to what wins. Here's what should happen. Somebody should see my videos and say, dang, I need James' help. Call me up. James, I need a consult. When can we talk? We do a consult. We have a civil discussion. And then sometimes it might be like, well, you can't be scared of that. Well, I am scared because this. I said, dude, stop being scared. You're being a coward. It might be that harsh, but I have to tell them that. Like a trainer has to tell somebody, stop being lazy. Put the sugar down. Get up and go to the gym. Well, I can't. I just don't feel it. Get out of your feelings. But because you're probably a feminine, fruity, little limp-wristed beta male, you don't like me talking like this because mommy babied you like to be a little bitch. I have women I'm helping right now. They love me. I have men I'm helping right now who are winning or doing better or making progress. So your dumbass is saying, basically, be an attorney, be a nice salesman, look clean up and look all presentable and have a great speech. And those attorneys help people lose their life with their kids. I sit here and tell guys, grow some balls. Like, if somebody wants to talk to me, I don't chew them out like this the whole time. They're ready to go to work, so am I. I'm talking about the guys who want to argue with me about what a liar I am or what I'm saying doesn't work or you need to be nicer. No, I don't. If you want some help, call me up and let's get some help. But 90% of the comments are, well, it doesn't work. Like, just think if you got a kid, you must have a kid if you're watching this. If you got a kid and the kid whines and cries, I can't do the bathroom. I can't clean up after myself. Or you got a boy who's like, he doesn't wipe down the toilet after he sprays everywhere. And he did it before, but it's too hard. And he whines and cries about it. What would you do if your kid whined and cried about a responsibility you gave him that he's capable of, and he continues to not do it and whine and cry about it and say that he can't for 2 or 3 years? You wouldn't tolerate that. You would punish him, or you would chew him out, or you would be strict with him. And I've been doing this 23 years, and you're telling me to be patient, sweet, and tolerant of these people. We're going to war, you dumbass, punk-ass bitch. And the guys who are ready to go to war, they don't mind me talking like this because I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the thin-skinned, easily offended punk-ass bitches who don't want to fight for their kids, and all they want to do is argue with me how what I'm saying doesn't work when it does. If everybody who needed help would just call me up and get help, like, do you call up a dentist and say, I don't know if pulling my tooth is going to work. I'm in so much pain, but you want to charge me $1,000 to pull a tooth, and then you want to argue with them for 20 minutes about it? Either go get your tooth pulled or go suffer. Now, that's a corny scenario maybe, but that's just as stupid as people sounding who want to fight and argue with me. And people want verification, and they want 100% reassurance, and they want their heart and soul to be warm and fuzzy and ready to go. When it's time to go to work, like Joe Rogan says, 90% of the time he doesn't feel like working out. He's in great shape for a 53, 54-year-old. He says, I have to fight that inner bitch, and I go do it anyway. That's what men do. That's what, oh my God. The guy who got arrested and falsely accused of trafficking women and was in Romania jail for a while. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate says it's a guy's duty to go in the burning building and rescue his family. He doesn't feel like doing it. He just does it because it's his duty. It's your duty to fight for your kids. I should not have, see, this is the problem. I should not have to convince you that you are willing to go all out to fight for your kids. What I'm usually doing is fighting with guys. Oh, well, the system shouldn't be like this. I should have an automatic right to my kids. I have a constitutional right to them. The system is unfair. My judge is unfair. My baby's mom is unfair. I wish she would just stop this. I wish she should be rational. If you want to be a bitch like that, then you're just like Chamberlain, who was the prime minister of Britain. He was negotiating with Hitler while Hitler swooped up Poland and France and Czechoslovakia, whatever the countries Hitler got. While he's negotiating with Hitler, being a limp-wristed little bitch, Chamberlain gained no ground with Hitler, and Hitler gained ground throughout Europe. And Britain was next to be taken over. Then when Churchill took over, he said, F this punk. We are coming in and we're going to take collateral damage. We're going to end this war because we're going to war. I'm going to punch the bully in the mouth. That's what men do. Now, I'm not saying men should be violent and should go around beating people up. I'm talking about a man's heart and courage standing up for justice in the face of criticism or people who don't like it. But most of you punk ass bitches who are mad at me for saying punk ass bitch are mad that I'm calling cowards cowards. Your life with your children is on the line. When I found out my life with my child was on the line, I was looking to and fro for answers. When somebody said, oh, you'll get it over the weekend, I said, bullcrap. Click, hang up on the attorney. I'm going to go for another answer. That wasn't satisfactory. That didn't sit right with me. Most of you, easily swayed, can't think for yourself, cowards, let an attorney, a guardian ad litem, a judge, somebody else tell you your God-given right is no longer your right, and you settle out of court 95%. I have a guy, he's still a client 4 years after he settled. Before he went into mediation, I said, do not settle on anything less than 50-50. What did he do? He settled on 4 hours of no overnight visitation. I think it was supervised at first. He had to wait a year to see his 4-year-old son when he was 5 overnight. The mother is still punking and controlling him. All he had to do was listen to me one time. He's like, oh, my attorney was pushing me. Well, we're going to have to go to trial. So? Why are you afraid of that? You should be afraid of missing your life with your kid. This is the insanity I deal with. One little decision. All you had to do was listen to me and tough it out for just a couple of hours. This guy said it was hot in the mediation room, and the mediator was pushing me, and my baby's mom's attorney was pushing me, and my attorney was telling me, well, we'll just go to trial or I'll quit the case. Then quit, bitch! God dang, you guys are such fruity little gay boys that you think that a threat, you need to surrender on your life with your kids, because if you don't sell yourself out, then I'm just not going to be your friend, and I'm not going to be on your side. Then you're a traitor, bitch, and I don't need you. Bye. But most of you punk-ass bitch, feminine, fruity gay boys can't have the balls to stand up for yourself. So I'm telling you, stand up for yourself. Once guys start doing that, like, oh my God, James, you're right. I stood up for myself, and the other side offered a settlement closer to what I asked for. Or the other side, I actually won in court. Or the judge admonished and chewed out my baby's mom. It's a miracle. When guys grow some balls and they fight, they actually make some progress. I have a guy, let me tell you this. I have a guy who, the baby's mom was saying, I'm going to destroy your life with your kid. You'll never see your kid again. She trashed his house, left his house, filed for, I can't remember if they were married or not, but he filed for full custody. Very little visitation. He got on the fence and bombed her with the interrogatories, went for full custody, and she started freaking out and crying, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Why are you doing this? See, women are so psycho, they will dominate and control you. It's the curse of Eve. They want to rule over the man. But then when you give in to them, then they hate you for it and despise you for it. It's like, why don't you just not try and rule over me or nag me and control me? They can't help it. So when you stand up to them, they respect you. Or they're like, I can't believe you're doing to me what I did to you. How can you do that to me? Next thing you know, a week later, they settled on 50-50. Why? Because he took one step and got on the offensive. Most of you guys will say, well, I don't want to look like I'm harassing her. I want to cater to the demonic, evil, child-abusing, manipulator, sociopath who wants to take my children from me and torture and torment them. Your baby's mom is a child abuser. And you're worried what the child abuser thinks of you or how you will look? If a prosecutor goes into a criminal court and does an opening statement, I don't want to say anything bad about this pedophile, but he does violate children's bubble and gets within 3 feet of them. You would think they're an idiot for not calling a pedophile a vicious, violent breaker of a child's womb, or, you call him the most sickest thing in the world. Could you call it a spade in court? But most of you guys are afraid to even do that. But when guys do that, all of a sudden, now you will have cases where the mother's going to fight you to the death. But in most cases, you start gaining some ground. I had a guy in Texas. I told him, have his attorney do a deposition. The attorney didn't want to do it. I said, light a fire under your attorney and grow, I didn't have to tell him to grow some balls. He was ready to do whatever I said. Light a fire under your attorney and make him do it. And he finally did it. The mother did a deposition. She looked horrible. She was sweating. She was fidgeting. She lied. They caught her in lies. Within a month, they settled on 50-50. She only wanted him to have 2 hours of supervised visitation. Because he did what I said. And you guys out here are saying, stop being so antsy and just be patient with guys. I'm not coddling to your... If we're off in a real, think about a real war. If we're off in a real war and you're lagging behind and you're crying and saying, I want to go home, what do you think the other soldiers are going to say about that? What do you think your captain or the general or whatever rank, I don't know all the military rankings, but somebody in higher authority is telling you to come on, like, I can't, and you're dragging along because it's so hard. Everybody's going through the same thing, but other guys are picking up a weapon and it's kill or be killed. I'm telling you that's what it is. And you're lagging behind and you want to argue with me and talk to me all day and talk to me in the comments about how I'm wrong, how it won't work, how the system, I'm not here to be educated by you idiots who don't have any self-awareness that the system is bad. But I got guys every day, oh, the system is this, the system is against fathers. No shit, dumbass. Why do you think I'm here? To give father solutions to overcome the prejudice. And you have no you're so stupid. You have no self-awareness that you just got on board. You haven't been doing this more than a year. I've been doing it 23 years. I've been dealing with 25,000 cases. And you're going to tell me, hey, James, the system's corrupt. No shit. Like, that's the dumbed down idiocy that I'm dealing with. But the guys who want to win, like James, you're speaking. I had a guy who was doing contempt in Georgia. I've given this example before, but there's probably some new people who haven't watched it. This guy was doing contempt. He was in Georgia. He found my videos on contempt. He hadn't seen his kid in like 6 months. He was representing himself. He fired his attorney because his attorney said, I'll do contempt. No, I'll do it later on. Put it off. He's like, I can't wait anymore. I have to do contempt. Mom had an attorney with 30 years experience. He had a hearing the next day. He texted me and said, I need to talk to you now. How do I pay? He was ready to go. That's a winner. Most of you guys, well, do you think I can win contempt? I don't know. Do you have some balls? You should be able to look and see that I won contempt the first try. I give you guys my winning orders for you to look at. That should be the end of it. If you have any sense of any semblance of half a testicle that's working, if you have any testosterone in your body, you should be running to me. I would have killed for somebody like me. When I started off my case, I got 1% of the information that I'm giving to you guys for free. And you're still whining and crying and pissing and moaning. If I gave you a home gym and paid for a chef to fix you meals that are delicious, but they're 10% the calories, and I serve it up for you to lose weight, and then you still don't even attempt to do it, at that point, I'm tired of dealing with you. This is what I've been doing for 20 years. And people are mad that I'm telling you what works and what you have to do, and you have to get on the offensive, and you have to grow some balls. I mean, really, ideally, what I like, some people are talking about, they like the live and stuff. What I'd love to do is do a live and do questions and answers, and people pay me $5 or $10 for a question, and then I could reach the masses. Because then I could just sit here and talk and give you guys answers, and then you don't have to worry about paying $100 for the full initial 1.5 hours, which is $300 less than an attorney will charge, or $400 less, and people are still complaining about that. And then you can do follow-ups for 30 minutes at a time. But people would be able to pitch in $5, $10, $15, or $20. I can make enough money to get by just doing lives and stuff like that. So that's what I ideally would like to do. I haven't gotten around to that because I'm too busy catching up to all the inundated, dealing with fighting through all the people who don't want to fight and trying to find the ones who do. I mean, I got as many testimonials as Judge Anthony. He's got millions of followers. That guy used to be a judge, and his consultation rate is $600 an hour, and he still says stuff like, oh, we'll do what the Guardian Lamb says, or don't be too harsh. So he gives some loser advice. He has some good advice on some stuff, but he also gives some loser advice. Then he gives a testimonial, and he gets on, and he starts dancing and shaking his ass like a solid gold dancer, trying so hard to be down and cool and somebody that he's not. That's what turns me off. There's a couple other political things that he says was bullcrap. So when he was a judge, I'm sure he didn't give guys 50-50 all the time. I'm sure he did what everybody else did. And now he's making money talking about how corrupt the system is, and he was part of it. I can't stand hypocrites. I can't stand fakes. I can't stand people who lie. If you're going to tell me the truth, like the guy, I did a consult with the guy. 5 times he told me throughout, I can't do that, James. I'm a pussy. I'm scared of my baby's mom. I'm a pussy. And I'm like, well, at least he was honest. I'm not going to make somebody do something. But if you're going to lie to me and say, I can't do that, men can't do that, the system is rigged against men, I already know that, you stupid dumbass with no self-awareness. Step outside yourself. Look at how stupid you look. You're telling somebody who has 23 years of experience in family court, hey, the system's corrupt. That's like getting on some blog somewhere in Flint, Michigan and say, hey, the water's dirty. Everybody already knows that. What are you going to do about it? I want to get some stuff done. I want to see guys win. I'm not here to be your pastor, counselor, your lover, or spoon with you and cry over this stuff. It is harsh. I got videos where I admit it is harsh. I got a video where a dad got 50-50. No, he got full custody of his daughter. He had a lawyer. He lit a fire under his attorney's ass, and he says, because of James. He never even got a consult with me. He watched my videos. And he said, I am not tolerating my attorney doing less than fighting for me and getting on the offensive. He got full custody. The dude made me cry. I went on a live on TikTok, and I was crying because that's what this is all about. I don't want to spend my time and energy trying to convince somebody that you have the ability to do what I do when I was a warehouse worker who flunked out of college and got full custody and destroyed a 17-year veteran attorney. The mom's guardian, the guardian line was on the mother's side. And then I did it again with the 37-year experienced attorney. And you're going to sit here and whine and cry and argue with me that you can't do it? F you. You're a sellout to any father's rights movement, which there is none, and there never will be one, because we're sitting here spending all our time and energy whining, crying, pissing, and moaning, or arguing with people like me. And I'm the only one that's left out here, unless you can, everybody keeps telling me I've never seen anybody like you. There used to be at least a dozen father's rights advocates I could find. The best one was in Vegas. They had a whole setup with about staff of 20. I visited one time. They would do people's paperwork, tell guys how to fight and stuff. That was taken over by an attorney who promised to keep the father's rights legacy going and stop doing it. A guy in Ohio, great, super intelligent, knew all kinds of stuff. He was trying to pass laws for 50-50. I said it'll never happen. And he got mad at me, infighting in the father's rights movement. A couple years later, he never got his law passed, and he was burnt out, and he quit. And here I am, still here. And what am I doing? I'm fighting off punk-ass, bitch-made, sellout, fruity gay boys who don't want to fight for their kids and be a real man and do what it takes despite the prejudice. Women fought against men who hated their guts. When women marched and women rights parades, men were throwing stuff at them and spitting on them. Jackie Robinson got spit upon when he crossed the race barrier in the major leagues. Martin Luther King got arrested. Him and Malcolm X got killed. And you're sitting here pissing and moaning about, oh, I can't go in there and accuse the mother of child abuse. You are a limp-wristed waste of flesh and brain cells and testicles. You're the dumbass who created a child with a crazy woman. And 90% of you knew better, but you're so thirsty and desperate for love. Or you had a one-night stand because you can't keep your stuff in your pants. I got guys who, they're on their third round of a crazy baby mom withholding the child from them. They didn't learn their lesson the first time. That's fine. Screw up one time, shame on me. He was on his second baby's mom. Both of them were tag teaming him and taking him to court. He goes and talks to the police and admits to child abuse, basically, when he wasn't committing child abuse. He didn't even call me. He's so stupid. He didn't even call me ahead of time. Now he's calling me for his third baby's mom. She goes across the country. And he's like, well, I don't got any money right now. I'll get you later. I'll get you later. I'll get you later. Now it's too late to file in Washington. Now he's got to go on the other side of the country. Now he's screwed because he's such a lazy dumbass. But he's really quick with sticking his stuff up in a woman. He's got all kinds of energy for that. And then one time I'm consulting with him on the phone and we're talking about his case and his two babies' moms. And I hear him like, there's so many fine bitches down here. Like he's drooling over women walking by. Wow, he's in trouble for drooling over two crazy women. I don't got time for that bull crap. And that guy got what he deserved. Some of you got what you deserved. I had kids with a crazy woman. I can own it. I was stupid. I didn't listen to my conscience. I didn't listen to God's spirit telling me, don't go near that chick today when I got her pregnant. We messed around one time in the year 2000. We had been together a couple years before. We messed around one time. I knew I heard God in my mind and in my conscience and my spirit, and I didn't listen. I was a stupid idiot, and I had to pay for it. And I could admit it here in front of all my fans. I didn't follow my own advice. I had a nice 20-year run with women, and then I went, somebody who was a friend for 10 years, played damsel in distress. I believed her. She had a broken arm. She had physical, tangible evidence of her damsel in distressness. She lied. She's a player. She's screwing multiple guys. I started dating her, and I'm trying to rescue her. I didn't listen to my own advice. I saw red flags, but I saw her getting better and better. I believed her story. She was playing me. I'm a dumbass for that. How come you can't admit that? How come you're so thin-skinned, you're on my page saying, that's not the way to talk to people? You know how many people, David Goggins and all these other influencers got all kinds of people. What's the guy's name? He's a billionaire. He always dresses in a old school tuxedo, suit and tie with a handkerchief in his pocket. Is it like, his name's like David Platt or Pratt, or his name's really short. He's an older guy. He must be like 70, and he has a seminar where he talks to guys, and he says, this society is effed. We're a bunch of losers. We're a bunch of pansies. There's all kinds of influences out there that help men become men. Andrew Tate's doing that. He doesn't chew guys out that much, but he'll chew guys out sometimes. But I don't do this in appointments. When somebody wants to fight, I'm there ready to fight with them. It's just I got to deal with this 90% of people that are just haters and criers and whiners all the time. You do know what you're talking about, no doubt. Yeah, okay. So how come you're such a punk-ass bitch that you can't sift through me saying, calling out all the whiners and take the information that I got? You should feel glad or lucky that I'm out here giving free game to people that your attorney won't give. Everything that's on my YouTube channel, my 400 videos, $50,000 worth of free information that your attorney won't give you. And you guys are still pissing and moaning because you don't like the tone. If somebody had the cure for cancer and they got on there and says, you stupid A mother effers, if you don't take this, you're a stupid idiot. And you could order it and you don't even have to talk to the dude. And all you want to do is whine, cry, piss and moan that you got cancer and you don't like his tone because it hurts you in the feelings. You are a stupid jackass. God almighty. No wonder we were hoodwinked into surrendering our rights since 2020 over a fake plague. Because we got punk-ass bitch-made fruity faggoty guys who can't grow some balls and stand up and walk around like they're free. You guys talk all this shit about how free you are and you have rights to your kids and rights to this, and you don't do anything about it when somebody puts a little pressure on you. I never wore a mask out in public. I gave it a little bit when I went into the stores. I never, ever went somewhere in public and wore a mask when I was out with fresh air. Because I can actually read. While the whole news and everybody else is telling us this and that, Dr. Fauci was saying nobody died of the flu during the Spanish flu. They died from bacterial pneumonia. Well, I can read, so I found out that the 13 pathogens that a mask captures includes the one that causes bacterial pneumonia. And back in 1913 or wherever, 1910, they were all wearing masks during the Spanish flu. There's pictures in Seattle of old newspapers of billy clubs with the police bludgeoning people for not wearing a mask. But the people who got over the Spanish flu the best were the ones who were the overflow from the hospital, outdoors in the sun, not trapped in the hospital. They got over it way faster. And people who hadn't done any of the vaccines of the day got over it way faster. So I can read, so I didn't have to listen to what everybody says. My gender doesn't read the law, doesn't read your constitutional rights. And even if you do, they say, well, the law says I have a right to this and that, but the judge says no. Tell the judge to do their job, dumbass. What else? You don't need my insight to do third grade level deductive reasoning. Now, maybe somebody needs to see that somebody actually did it. But I didn't. I was a warehouse worker who flunked out of college. I went into court and said the mother has a cult-like home environment for our kid. My constitutional right is being violated. The judge says, what constitutional right? And I talked about Troxel versus Granville and a couple other cases in the 1950s and early 1900s. And I told the judge what her obligation was under the Constitution. Most of you guys are scared to say that. You're in a court of law. This is how stupid it is. When you don't tell the judge what the law is they have to follow, that's like saying, I'm afraid to tell the referee that the other team can't use their hands in a soccer game. The rules tell the refs what they need to enforce. The law and the court rules and the Constitution tell a judge what they need to do in a family courtroom. They're the referee of your case. They have to follow the rules. But your dumbass is so stupid, you think it's a crime for you to go in there and tell the judge what he's supposed to do. And so nobody ever does it. And so these judges get empowered to violate the rules and violate the law, and nobody ever challenges them. And then when you challenge them, they say, wait, don't tell me the law. I know what the law is. No, you don't. Why do you think the Court of Appeals exists? They overrule you guys all the time. You need to allow me to argue the law. Some judge will say, don't tell me the law. Just tell me your story and your facts. I will tell you the law because I'm reminding you of it because you're ignoring it so far. Those people work for you. You got to change your mentality. It's just like the Lion King. Simba was a fruity little cowardly bitch when he was out in the oasis with the other animals. Then he stands in front of him. He was in awe of his father. His father ran the kingdom. Mufasa ran the kingdom. His father died and he's scared. That's fine to be scared. Everybody's scared of something in life. Bill Russell, the center for the Boston Celtics, used to throw up before every basketball game. And he's one of the greatest basketball players ever and most dominant. And he was scared and nervous. Mike Tyson said he was scared before a fight, but there's some point where he's approaching there and then his confidence and all his training built up. You go to court and you know the law and you know your rights and you know who you are. Nobody can F with you. But you want to just sit there and not learn anything and just sit there and let the attorney tell you you got to stand down. And while you're getting ran over and kicked down like a doormat, just think about any scenario, a kid with a bully at school. Just think about a bully. Half of bullies out there are punks who couldn't fight everybody that they bully. And if you stand up to them, they'll tuck their tail and run. Or you might have to actually smash the bully in the mouth. And you might get a bloody nose. But the bully is not going to want to fight you every single day. They're going to respect you for standing up to them and fight them, even if they beat you up. They're not going to want to do that every day. So once you stand up to the bully and you break that fear, and you're like, oh my God, it's not even that bad. You know, I was nervous the last time I went to court, in my 20th year of being in and out of court. But I was less nervous because I realized this doofus is just a doofus with a robe. They got it all wrong. I'm going to fix their order. I'm going to tell them what to do. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I just want to get on here and talk about how stupid this guy was on this video. I'm going to give the link there. Look for the most recent comment. This guy says that I'm a liar, and he has a text message saying that cops can't do anything. And in the video, I'm telling people, complain to the cops. He says that I told him you can't complain to the cops. And I don't know who he is. He doesn't explain anything, like most numbnut, idiot, low IQ, bottom-feeding idiots who only know how to use their manhood. Like, the only thing you know how to do in life is act like a primate and screw women. You don't know how to read. You don't know how to pay attention. You don't know how to listen. You don't know how to follow along. I was clear in the video that I'm only talking about the states where there's an actual law against custodial interference. If you don't have that law, you can't complain to the cops. So this guy must not have a law in his state, or he wasn't clear with me as to what state he was, what the law. I always ask people, why are you calling the cops? What do you think they could do? What law did they break? I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Well, why don't you learn how to do stuff the right way? There's people who watch my videos for months and months. And after they get screwed in court, they say, James, I need your help to fix this. Did you do the stuff I said? No. It sounded good. Oh, I never got through to the guy in Georgia. So this is what winners do. Guy in Georgia calls me or texts me. I need to talk to you stat. How do I pay you? I need an appointment tonight. I said, I can't even get to you, dude, until like 8 o'clock my time. That was 11 o'clock East Coast. He didn't care. He wanted to talk to me. He paid me. We went right to it. Here's what to deal with the contempt. Here's some arguments. They're saying this. Okay, this is what I would argue. This, that, and that. The guy went in there, got the mother found in contempt. He got makeup time. He was an every other weekend dad. He got every weekend for the next 6 months until he made up the time missed. The judge told the mother, you better agree to a new modified parenting plan that clears up the confusion, or I'm throwing you in jail for 21 days. Destroyed the attorney. You know why this happened? This dad was decisive. He didn't care that in some of my videos I was hot. He's like, what you said resonated with me. It's what I need to hear, so I'm acting. I'm using my energy to act, to fight for my kid. I could disagree. You could disagree with me on some things that are my theories, but when stuff that actually worked, and I tell you that it worked, you can't disagree with me on that. This guy didn't spend his time and energy arguing with me over whether I was right or wrong. He saw that I won my contempt. He acted. He got a crash course on contempt the night before his hearing, went in and destroyed the mother. Now he's seeing his kid. And you punk ass bitches are out there whining and crying about my tone. I'm sitting there helping people rescue their lives with their kids and destroy attorneys and save tens of thousands of dollars. His attorney didn't even want to try and do a contempt. He had to wait and wait and wait while she's violating the order. He was going to do it the first month, then the second month. And you guys want to sit here and argue with me. Punk ass bitches. And I'm actually being nice. I got a lot more choice words because your child is living with the mother and living with a boyfriend that abuses your kid. You are the dad. You are the Superman in that kid's life. The only person in the world that can rescue your kids is your dumb ass. And you won't do it. You want somebody else to do it. You don't deserve those kids. If you're that much of a punk ass that you won't even try and do the stuff that worked for me. And then you're going to argue with me over my tone and whatever. Again, if I had the cure for cancer and I'm talking like this and I'm chewing people out, why would you even care? Why wouldn't you want to fix your cancer? And the cancer that you have right now is punk ass bitchedness cancer. It's a cancer that's causing you to be, oh my God, what's the word? It's causing paralysis. You are sitting still doing nothing in your case. When if you were moving forward, if you would have got on the offensive at the beginning of your case and went for full custody, a psych eval on the mother, an evaluation by somebody, and done a deposition if you have an attorney, half of you, your case would be over in a month and she would settle on something fair. None of you ever tried that. And then guys are arguing with me, I fought. Don't tell me I didn't fight. Did you do all these things? No. Then you didn't even try to fight. I'm saying the same stuff over and over. It's just because punk ass bitches have 100 different excuses for not fighting, and the real root cause is I'm scared like a little bitch. And sometimes I will do it nicely. Okay, a guy will call me and say, hey, my baby's mom won't let me see my kid but for like 4 hours on Saturday. Like, what do you mean? Does your parenting plan say 4 hours? No, we don't have a parenting plan. Have you ever had your kid for more than 4 hours before? Yeah, I used to have the kid every other weekend, but she pulled the plug on that and told me 4 hours. And then I say, why are you obeying your baby's mom? Why don't you just keep the kid and act like the father of your kid? And guys usually sit there puzzled, like, I can do that? Oh, I could go to jail. For what crime? I could get an Amber Alert. Amber Alerts are usually guys who are total strangers kidnapping kids, or if it's the dad, he has a restraining order. Now what's your reason? Well, isn't that a crime if I do that? If you're afraid to take your kid longer than the mother allows, why did you have your kid for every other weekend? Why weren't you worried the SWAT team was around the corner ready to jump you? If it's a crime to act like the father of your kid. They said, well, it was okay with her then. Oh, so the mother is the law and the mother gets to dictate your life with your kid? And you're both parents? Where did you get that idea from? I don't know. Brainless, dumbass, caveman, zombie who hasn't evolved. And then I say, if keeping a kid longer than the other side, the other parent likes it, if that's a crime, why don't you call the cops on the mother for committing that crime against you? I already tried to call the cops. They said they can't do anything. It's a civil matter. So you freaking hypocritical, dumbass, punk-ass bitch. You just told me you're afraid she'll call the cops, and you already know. You just want to be a bitch. You guys want to be bitches. So this fruity gay boy faggot on here, Beyond Organics Farm. I could care less what you guys think of me. Again, if I lose all of my followers, I mean, the winners are still going to want to help. I'll still get word of mouth. If I lose all my followers, I will just get a regular job, and your punk-ass bitch dumbasses who are benefiting from this free information just won't get it anymore. It's your loss. So you guys are so stupid. You have such a feminine female. You have too much estrogen in you. You've been drinking too much soy milk. And you got man boobs because of all the estrogen. You're acting like a female and thinking that you're winning. You're lucky I'm even around. There's no other father's rights group or anybody around. There's a father's rights movement filled with a bunch of losers who lost in court, create a father's rights movement group where they give each other ideas of what they did when they lost. See how much sense this stuff makes? This is insane. This is why I'm outraged. This is why I don't play around. This is why I get right to the point. You want some help? Get some help. I should not have to do one more video ever, and I should have 100 people calling me a day for help. But it won't happen because my gender is 90% punk-ass, soy boy, bitch-made, fruity gay boys. They want mommy to come and rescue their kids. You're the dad. God made you the protector over your kids. Go protect your kids from the child-abusing traitor mother. In The Lion King, it was a family member that took Simba's throne. He had to go and kill his uncle. I'm sure some of you little fruity little gossiping female she-males out there have, because all you do is spend your time whining and crying about the system. Like, I'll go on a Facebook page and the guy will say, violation. I was like, why don't you do a contempt motion? Oh, the court never finds people in contempt. I got my baby's mom found in contempt first try. Now what's your excuse? Then they get pissed because they have to face the fact that they're a bitch-made coward. In The Lion King is a family member who was a traitor. You are the king of your king. Just think, in any kind of kingdom in the history of the world, if the queen told everybody to follow her and usurp the king, she'd probably get killed or she'd get jailed, or the king would just put her in check in older days. But that would be outrageous for a queen to do that. You're letting her do that because we're a soft, tender, fruity, gay-dominated. You know, women either turn kids into knuckleheads or turn them into fruity boys. The school system is feminized and dominated by feminism. Won't let boys be boys. They want them to be girls. There's this guy, he had this campaign. If you Google boys are stupid, throw rocks at them, there's this sellout piece of shit dude who should be in prison for life. He had a campaign where he created t-shirts and stuff, and it says, boys are stupid, throw rocks at them. And he had all these different things. His name was Goldman. Something Harris Goldman. I think Robert Harris Goldman. The guy should be allowed to be in a room alone with dads of boys, because what he was doing is advocating child abuse. But it was funny because in a feminist dominated society, punk ass bitch males don't stand up for stuff like this. They just laugh it off too. Oh, that's funny. He's saying boys are stupid, throw rocks at them on t-shirts, and he sold millions of them. That's our society. That's not funny. And every generation comes along and says, hey, the family court system is corrupt. Why isn't anybody doing anything about it? Because when you're done with your family court case and you sell out and you settle on the mother having total domination and control of you because you're given into the Jezebel witch, and you don't call her the child abuser that she is, and you don't go for full custody, and you don't scare her into settling for 50-50, you give in like a little cowardly bitch and you just sign at the bottom line and you sell your soul. When you're done with that, you don't do anything about the system, and neither does the next guy or the next guy. And here I am. I protest my judge in his neighborhood, calling him a child molester in my picket sign with his name, his birthday, and his home address. And your punk ass is scared to go to court and tell the judge what the law says? Get the frick out of here, you punk ass bitch, whining and crying that I'm too harsh. You won't even do the bare minimum of what's required to argue to save your life with your kid, and then you're mad at me when I tell you to grow some balls and do it. And then I'm arguing with you, and then it escalates, and you're like, you're such a jerk. And you just lost track of, you just pissed away the best opportunity you have to win and get your kid back by kicking me to the curb. I'm not going to help somebody like that. I have a guy, he actually sent a DM to me and he showed me a gun like he's going to use it against me. A year later, now he's telling me he wants an appointment. The stupid jackass I forgot about that. It's pathetic. My gender is pathetic. You know, the guy who mentioned this earlier, there's a bunch of people who mentioned it. How come I don't have 1 million followers? Because our gender is... Now, I'll tell you this. I would have 1 million followers if I got on here. Like some of my more famous videos are, number one, my argument, the best argument for 50-50. Because punk ass bitch made dads, all we want to do is get a 50-50 custody laws passed so that the courts automatically do it for us. Now, there's an argument for that, and it's the same argument for full custody. But that's not the end all be all. So that's a neutral thing that I do. So I got a lot of views on that. Or when I talk about something corrupt in the system, I get all kinds of views. So if I just whine, cry, piss and moan and complain about it, everybody just loves the orgasmic pleasure of seeing somebody else complain about the system. It's like you get a dopamine hit. Oh my God, they feel my pain. It feels good. And then you're done. And then you wake up to an empty house because your kid's at the mom's, because you're a punk ass fruity gay boy bitch who won't fight for your kid. And if you don't like that tone, then keep doing what you're doing or come on board. The train is moving. There's a few people on it. Either hop on the train or get ran over by it or get left behind. Because my guys are winning in court. Some of them aren't because they got a hold of me really late. There's some cases, like I will say half of the cases when a guy gets on the offensive from the beginning and fights the right way all out. I just told you about a guy who did a deposition on the mother. The attorney didn't want to do the deposition. He did it. A month later, he's got 50-50. The mom settled because he got on the offensive and beat her down in the court system. That's what usually happens within 3 or 4 months. The guys who get on the offensive the right way from the beginning, they settle. Then you got the other half. 40% of the guys, if they pick it up and eventually get on the offensive, they get something fair or better than what they did with their attorney. And then there's a 10%, they'll just go to war and the mother will go to war and you got to roll the dice with the judge. That's kind of the average estimate guess that I got. But when you get a family law attorney in the corrupt system, there's a 100% guaranteed chance you're going to get screwed and lose. And people are like, well, how do I know that I'm going to win? I had a guy, he asked me like 3 questions in a consult today. And you know, on top of that, like I said, I woke up after 3 hours of sleep to meet with a client and I called to confirm that we're meeting and he was at a job site saying, oh, I'm at a job site. He wasn't even going to give me the common courtesy of telling me that he wasn't going to make it. He goes, can we do it tomorrow? So I allowed him to do it the next day and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I'm losing sleep because of somebody who flaked out on me and then somebody else changed on me. So I didn't have any appointments. I talked to a guy today because he wanted to schedule an appointment. He said, just one quick question, which led to another thing, which led to another thing. He was trying to milk me for some free information. And then he kept saying all the different reasons why he was scared. He was talking about the system, this and that. And I said, well, why did you do this? He said, they made me settle on 50-50. They didn't make you do anything. You voluntarily settled. Own it. Stop being a bitch. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. If you don't know what you're doing, why would you sign something that's legally binding you to something? If I'm negotiating a contract with somebody, if I'm Jim Carrey and I'm going to do a movie and I don't know what I'm doing or how it works, or if I'm buying a home in real estate, I better get somebody who knows what they're doing. If I don't know what I'm doing, if they say, hey, this home that was advertised for $250,000, now it's $400,000. Wait, that doesn't sit right. Okay, I'll just sign it. Wait a minute, you told me $250,000. That's where guys with balls would like say something. Like if you go to Morton's and you get a steak that's done, that's rare, and you order medium well, you wouldn't say, oh, I don't want to take it back. I don't want to hurt the chef's feelings. You just paid $80 for that steak. You're damn skippy, you're going to send it back. And you're going to demand that you give him, but you won't stand up to your attorney who's $400 an hour and you're the boss. Your attorney says, just shut up and just let me just handle this. No, you work for me. I'm paying you $400 an hour. If I have a plumber making $50 an hour or a landscaper making $35 an hour, if they cut or trim something wrong and I told them how to do it and they don't do it, I'm going to get on their ass. But see, you punk ass bitches won't do that when it comes to your life with your kid. We literally turn into, and there's a spiritual war out there too. Like there's a real devil, there's a real spiritual war. So you guys are told, don't say anything bad about the mom. And you're like, okay, master, whatever you say. You have a suit and tie and a cherry wood desk in a downtown high-rise building. The mother's a child abuser and her boyfriend's a child molester. I won't say anything about that. I won't snitch. And I'll hope the court will give me custody and allow my child not to be molested. That's the stupidity I deal with every single day. And guys should be able to do what I did when I started my case. When I saw guys who had any semblance of information that I could use, I jumped on it. That's why I had the guy from Dads Against Discrimination mentor me. The guy was saying stuff nobody else told me. And then the other guy, Dads, the National Brotherhood of Fathers' Rights, Dennis Gack. I think he's passed away now, GAC. That's a guy, he charged me $600. He wrote paperwork. He did it all wrong. He copied and pasted stuff and put it out of order. I had to redo it. But that's the one who told me about the paper blizzard strategy. The Dads Against Discrimination guy told me to get on the offensive, go to war, do contempt, do this, do that. But he would give me a thick book and say, here's the rules on filing motions. King County Local Civil Rule 7. Read that, and that's how you do it. And that's all he gave me. I'm giving you guys samples of motions that get you started with legal arguments or teaching you how to look this stuff up. I was lost when it came to looking up case law. I didn't have the citation of a case law. I didn't have the structure of that memorized for like a year and a half because he didn't teach me right. I was lost about it. And I teach you guys right off the bat how to do this stuff. You're getting third-year level law school stuff summed up real quick. And these attorneys, when they go through law school, they get out of law school, they still get trained by the law firm how to do this stuff. They still don't know how to do this stuff. You're getting advanced stuff that most attorneys are not even doing. Your attorney's not doing. The opposing attorney's not doing. I've seen the dirtiest tricks from my first baby's mom's attorney was kind of a cakewalk. The second one, he's the worst attorney in America, literally, that I've seen in 25 years. And I destroyed him. And you guys are afraid of an attorney who's just barking with no bite? Your attorney is 50% of what the mom's first attorney in my case was. And you're scared of him just because they say, oh, the father's abusive. Then you just, oh my God, they called me that. Like, it's aggravating. It's psychologically torturing when all you want to do is be a good dad. I told people before, I hated going out and checking the mail because I didn't want to read the next letter from the mother's attorney accusing me of being a monster. I did not want to go to the mailbox. That's how tormenting this stuff was with me. But I still went to the mailbox, and if I got a letter from them, I opened it up, and then I turned right around and did the most therapeutic thing I could do. Got on the offensive and countered everything they said. I never heard of interrogatories. They sent me interrogatories. I spent all weekend typing up a set of interrogatories, and I turned around and sent it right back to them. They bombed me with 174 questions. I bombed them right back with the same ones, and I tweaked my own. That's what happens when you have balls or initiative or you care about your kid. If you don't care about your kid, you don't want to fight that hard. Now, you care about your kid, but you don't care enough about them to step outside your comfort zone and to fight discomfort and to work hard. I had to go to the law library to look up laws in books. I had to go to Kinko's to print out papers and spend $100. Then I had to go to the courthouse to file with the clerk and file the judge's copy for a hearing because the judge gets a bench copy. Then I had to deliver it to the mother's attorney's office on the other side of Lake Washington, 30 miles away. Right now, today, you can electronically e-file. You can type up a document, have your electronic signature, never print out a piece of paper, e-file it, e-serve it on the other side, give the judge a working copy, and do a Zoom hearing from home. You could do your case from your own bedroom. It's 100 times easier than it was for me. And I destroyed people in court, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And your punk-ass, bitch-made ass is whining and crying about my advice, which worked for me and to countless other people. That's like Generation X kids saying, oh, it's so hard to get a job. You were out there walking through snow in Minneapolis in the winter, applying for jobs and knocking on doors and getting a $1 an hour burger joint job and slaving away and then getting verbally abused by the boss. And our Generation X, the boss told me that I got reprimanded because I was late for an hour like twice. Like, this is so aggravating. You see how stupid that sounds? Like when you were a kid and when you got a job, how hard it was. This Generation X thinks they can push a button and all of a sudden they get a job and somebody gives them money and how entitled they are. That's how my experience in family court was compared to the experience of 90% of guys coming to me and saying, oh, I'm entitled to my kid. I shouldn't have to fight. It shouldn't be this way. It should. Well, here we are, dumbass. If Canada bombed us, like when Germany invaded all those countries, they shouldn't do that, but they did. So what do? Real men grow some balls and go to war and stop it. But punk-ass bitches in a fruity, gay-dominated, radical, feminist-dominated country turn into bitches, and they're like, if I just throw some flowers at them, if I give them a hug, if we make love, not war, maybe they'll just go away. You're in a war over your kids. Act like it. If you don't want to act like it, get off my page. Go somewhere else. I got answers. There's videos on here where I'm not talking harshly, that your prissy little tiptoe through the tulips, tender, thin skin, little pretty, fluttery, gentle, tender heart can tolerate. And if you decide you want to do stuff like that, you can get a consult with me and get laser-like precision answers. Do this and do that. A lot of people call me up and say, well, let me tell you my story. I said, no, just first tell me your court orders. Let's work our way back. No, let me just tell you a story. Like you just want to vent. You don't want to get answers. Those aren't winners either. I've had guys who like 45 minutes into an hour consult. Now they want to let me talk. And I got an hour information I need to share with them and they didn't want to let me talk. And then they're mad that they got to pay. Because you're led by your feminine emotional feelings. It's time to be a man. It's time to go to war. I got women out here who are getting screwed worse than most of you men. And they're still toughing it out because they're looking at it long term. And women are more calculating and they're willing to go through stuff. Now, the ratio is like 90 to 10 of men and women getting screwed. But I have women with long-term goals and they're toughing out the hell right now because it's worth it because their kids are still young. And you pussies want to quit now. Because it's just too hard. And then the only advocate out there is James. And he talks like a jerk. And it hurts my little feelings. And it hurts me in my soul and in my heart. And I just can't deal with it. If what I'm saying hurts your feelings are going to be hurt worse when the judge says supervised visitation because you're a punk-ass bitch who didn't want to fight for your kids. You know, go watch The Lead Attorney. See what that guy has great information on how corrupt the family court system is. But you know what he also said? I should do a video on me versus the lead attorney. He also said that he loved it when he saw a man representing himself because he was lunch meat for him. He would destroy him in court. So this is a guy, bald-headed, clean-faced, black dude, really big, pretty smile, wears a suit, fancy desk, and he just talks about Hollywood celebrity stuff. And he's talking with Pearl about how corrupt the system is. And he said, I represented so many shitty mothers that still got full custody, even though the dad was a good dad. You know what he said by doing that? He admitted that he helped the mothers get full custody. When the rules of professional conduct require him to be honest and not advance a case that's not just. And so he's helping a shitty mother get full custody according to his own word. But nobody picked up on that. He was blaming the system and the mothers for getting custody, and he was representing the mothers and he was helping them. So he's like a house slave. He's a sellout. But nobody picks up on that. So go watch that guy because he's really nice. Every once in a while he has a harsh word. He has a video where he talks about dads don't want to fight, but he's nicer than me. I don't have time to play that bullshit. I'm not playing no politically correct, soft, gentle. The guy who mentored me, one time I did something dumb. He said, I thought you were smarter than that. Now that could have hurt my feelings, but I made a mistake. And I lived with it and I corrected it. Have you guys ever had a coach before? Any of you ever wrestled or played football or basketball? You ever had a job before and your boss chewed you out? So why are you so thin-skinned and hurt by me? If this hurts you, when a judge says you suck and you're a bad parent, you can't see your kid, that's going to hurt 100 times worse. If you listen to what I say and suck it up, like I said, if you get a consult with me, we're not going to talk like this the whole time. We're going to get right to what you need. I'm going to ask some questions and we're going to go to the law and case law and look at forms and look at all the options and get down to it. But you want to pussyfoot around like a bitch. If you're fat and out of shape, how many more months are you going to talk about what the right diet is if you could get around to it? Or you got a gym membership and you never go to the gym. You see how asinine that is? You got to get up and do something. I'm telling people to do stuff, and you guys are mad at me for that. Thanks, bro. This is wonderful. I don't usually hear that. And you know why I got suckered by a narcissistic playing psycho whore bitch who abuses her own children? I found out at the end when I found out that she was screwing 3 guys in 1 week and she was playing me and she wasn't really a victim. She was a victim of her own circumstance. She said she was molested growing up. She's worried her previous boyfriend molested her daughter. Then she turns around and goes back to that boyfriend. Then I tell her dad when I leave, this guy might have molested your granddaughter and, your daughter was molested growing up. And he goes, she wasn't molested growing up. You're full of shit, blah, 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 blah. Not that I know of. And that's the problem. Usually people don't know their kids are molested. And then he was in denial because he's enabling her. So anyway, I got suckered because I'm an empath. If any of you guys know anything about narcissism, narcissists target empaths. But at the same time, I'm still a man. Every single man is equipped with the ability to protect what's his and be an alpha male like a lion and protect the pride. If you were an athlete, I was an athlete, I played football. I never wanted, when I got hit, I'd get right back up just so the other side to be discouraged. I played tight end. If I got hit really bad, I got right back up and I walked back to the huddle like nothing happened. Even if I was in pain, I didn't want them to think that. That's alpha male stuff. Every one of you can do this stuff. You have to unbrainwash yourself from the years of subconscious stuff from TV. So Bart Simpson, the Love and Marriage TV show, Married with Children, even the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby's like Wilts when Claire Huxtable puts her foot down. All this subliminal stuff that men are pussies and women know everything and we have to obey them, and you just believe it. You don't follow your conscience. Just stay quiet when somebody tells you to do something, back down or do this or do that. My sister told me I should just give up and give custody to the mom and give her what she wants because I'll have a stroke or something if I keep fighting her. My sister, rest in peace, had 2 different boyfriends who spent $100,000 on family court and got royally screwed. She thought it'd be the same with me. I said, I love you, but I'm not listening to your advice. I'm fighting for my daughter. If I get 0 visitation until she's 18, I'm taking 18 years of my life to fight for her in court so I can face my daughter. Everything else took a back seat. Let me tell you this. If you are not making everything a back seat other than food, water, and a job, everything else is a backseat to fighting for your kids. If you don't have that mentality, you're a punk-ass little bitch-made faggot coward, and you don't care about your kids enough because this is war over your kids. That's a fact. If you don't like that, you don't deserve your kids, and you're a dumbass, and you're the reason why the system is the way it is because of sellout punk-ass bitches like you. So, I was scared to death, number 1, of standing before God and saying I wasn't involved in my kid's life. Number 2, I was scared to death of facing my daughter when she was 18 and her saying, Dad, how come you weren't in my life? And so I vowed to fight tooth and nail and be in and out of court for 18 years so that when I face her, I'll say, go talk to your mom because look at this pile of paperwork that piles up to the moon. I was fighting for you. And it turns out that my warrior mentality that every single one of you have, if you get rid of the bitch that's dominating you, the inner bitch that Joe Rogan talks about, if you let the warrior come out, you will have that same mentality. Life is already hard. Why are you bitching and moaning that you're so stupid you had a kid with a crazy woman and now you got the repercussions of your decisions? If you go into business with somebody who has mafia ties, who has lost 4 businesses or conned another business partner, you're probably going to get screwed on your business. You're stupid for getting in that. I can own it and see, you're not going to get anybody else like me out here. I'm not trying to sell something and be dishonest and be a snake oil salesman like these attorneys. The attorneys will say, oh, we'll get you 50-50. Then you get them on board and they squat and they don't do shit because they're a salesman. I'm up here telling you what a dumbass I was a couple times in my life. And I'm telling you to stop being a dumbass. And then if you repent of your ways, everything's all good. But you're so stupid and such a feminine little fruity gay boy that you're all in your feelings and you're caught up in what I said that triggered you and told you, yeah, you're being a bitch. Get rid of your inner bitch and fight for your kids. And you don't like that because it's going to take effort. So now you project onto me and get mad at me because I told you the truth. Now, if you're not a punk-ass bitch, then when I throw a rock into the crowd, when it hits you, you won't bark. There's a lot of other people saying worse stuff on YouTube than me. Why don't you go and be a policeman and talk to them? Because I triggered your punk ass in your core, and you are selling out because you want your custody battle to be easy. You want somebody else to do it for you. You want somebody to rescue your children, and you don't want to do it because it's too hard. You're the only one. You're the only hope for your kids. If a stranger kidnapped your kid and the cops aren't looking for your kid, you would go where the last place they were, and you would you'd pitch a tent next to the forest that they got lost in and look high and low and have a group of people and you'd be hunting them down. But you won't do it now because the kidnapper is entitled mom, and you're a bitch when it comes to mom because she henpecked your punk ass and she manipulated, dominated, had a Jezebel spell cast over your head. You know, for those of you who are God believers, you know, Elijah was there talking smack to a bunch of wizards, and he called God to rain fire down from heaven. And he was talking smack like, where's your God? He must be on the toilet. to 300 witchcraft wizards out there that could have got him killed, that the whole world, the whole community was afraid of. And he was talking smack. He's 1 on versus 300. Then in the next chapter or somewhere later on, he's running from one woman, Jezebel. He turned from alpha male hero, braver than a lion, to punk ass bitch. That's the problem in America. Every time, if I sit down and talk to somebody and they're saying why they won't do it and making excuses, and then I ask them why, what about this? Like the scenario I gave you earlier. Like, why don't you just keep your kid for 8 hours instead of 4? Oh, because the mother will be mad. So? I just don't want her angry. So then you're a punk ass bitch. You care more about placating to the mother than spending time with your kid. Your kid is starving for a relationship with you, and you won't give that to the kid because you want to kiss the ass of a psychotic, narcissistic, Jezebel, child-abusing whore, which makes you a house slave level type of traitor bitch. Your kids need you. You will sell them out and say, I'm not going to give you the spiritual, psychological, and emotional needs and nurturing and love of a father. I'm going to take that away from you by giving in to this psycho whore because I'm scared of her. What's she going to do to you? Make you hurt in your little feelings? I've seen guys 6'6", 280 pounds scared of their baby's mom. I confronted my baby's mom in court, pointed across the room and said, this is the only person in the world that doesn't want our child to have a relationship with the father. That's sickening. She walked out crying. I've never talked to her since, but I got a relationship with my daughter. But you fruity little faggots would say, that wasn't nice of you. I got my kid, you dumbass. God dang, you guys are so freaking stupid. I'm not talking about all of you, because 10% of you agree with me. And I'm not going to change society, but it's still frustrating as hell to have to deal with such fruity, feminine, sissy, limp-wristed, coward, weak-minded, wilting little, flowery, little girly bitches that are supposed to be the protectors of your kids. If a child molester breaks into your house, are you going to say, I'm sorry to bother you, we got milk and cookies, do you want some? No, you wouldn't. But when it comes to your baby's mom, you turn into something that you're not. Got to knock that crap off. Anyway, I'm done ranting about that. Let's see what people have to say if they have any questions. Give a damn shame. Run around with signs protesting animal abuse, but won't do the stuff for people that don't kids. That's a great point. Every excuse in the book. Okay, so this fruity gay boy, Beyond Organic Farm, said, I have been in 47 cases nationwide. You have no clue either. I have no clue about what. See, this is what happens when you're a feminine, tranny male. This guy just said he doesn't like my approach. I should be nicer so I can get more clients. I don't give a damn about more clients. Stop being a Jezebel female telling me what I need to do like a nagging bitch, crazy, fruity, gay boy. Why are you obsessed with how I run my business? This guy says he's done 47 cases nationwide. That's great. Who gives a shit? Did you lose all 47 cases? What are you? Are you a paralegal or advocate? Or are you talking about your own case? Who gives a shit? I've dealt with 25,000 cases. Now what, bitch? God damn. You can't. My sister with Down syndrome could do math better than you, dumbass. See, these guys sit here and argue with me. There's no way you can win with me. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm helping guys win my way. Go to the other guys that are helping guys win. Oh, wait a minute. There is nobody out there, you dumbass. So Beyond Organics Farm, and that's great that you got an organic farm. Like I've alluded to, that's one of the biggest detriments. That's what's turning guys into fruity little bitches. So I'm wondering why you're a fruity little bitch if you're eating organic food and you're not drinking a bunch of soy and estrogen-rich foods. But that's a great thing that you're doing. But I don't know, maybe you're a tree hugger and you like being soft and gentle, and I'm not soft and gentle. But this guy is, first of all, he said, you know what you're talking about. Now that I called his bluff and how stupid he is for telling me, be nicer, you're not going to get, that's not the way you deal with clients. I'm dealing with warriors, you bitch. I'm not dealing with clients per se. I'm not trying to run a hustle like attorneys. Are you on the side of these child trafficking attorneys? You sell out little arrogant prick. Fruity little faggot. Sitting here saying, I need to be nicer. I'm rescuing children from a mother who has a boyfriend who's a child abuser, who's a child molester, or the mother's an abuser herself. I'm helping guys rescue their kids. And your punk ass is mad at my tone and telling me some business advice. I don't need your business advice. I'm doing just fine. Now, I'm not rich. I should be, because I'm the one who has all the answers and nobody else does. But your punk ass says I know what I'm talking about. Then I call you out, and now you say, I have been in 47 cases nationwide. You have no idea. You have no clue either. No clue about what? All the thousands of cases I've helped guys win? I have no clue. Are you also going to hate on Tom Brady, saying he's not a good quarterback after 7 or 8 Super Bowls? Or Michael Jordan after 6 rings? I put my winning court documents on display for people to see. Where's your winning court documents, Beyond Organics Farm, bitch? God damn. You guys see how insane this is? The guy just got done saying, you know what you're talking about. I just don't like your tone. I say, screw you, fruity little sissy gay boy coward who doesn't like my tone. If you don't like my tone, like think about boot camp. Why does a drill sergeant act like such an asshole to new soldiers? Because they're going to war. We're living in the most comfortable country in the history of the world with all advances at a touch of a button. You have to go to war over your kids, and you're too much of a sissy to type away or read stuff or study and stand up in court. This guy's mad at my tone. Drill sergeants are preparing soldiers for war. If you can't fight through doing 100 push-ups when you're crawling the sands of Normandy Beach, you're going to die. If you can't fight through your own sissy feelings, if you can't grow some balls, and you're not willing to fight for your kid and get out of your comfort zone and possibly piss off a judge. I pissed off a judge when I got 5 days a week visit. I got 0 visitation the first time in front of a commissioner. I appealed to a judge. The judge said, I can't believe there's so much conflict between you two. You people need to grow up. And then she gave me 5 days a week visitation. Do you think I gave a damn about the 2 minutes that she chewed us out? Yet most of you fruity little gay boys would be afraid of those 2 minutes and wouldn't trade that for your kids. God dang, my gender's such a bunch of faggots. God dang. You go to boot camp to get ready to be a soldier in a war. It's hell in boot camp. Navy SEALs go through hell. Watch David Goggins, Goggins, and then come back to me and say I'm a jerk. That guy's saving people's lives by changing men's mentality. So is Cole Robinson's snake diet. Go watch him. He's helping people lose weight and save their lives. And he's dropping F-bombs on them every sentence. And his opening line is, hey, fatty. He's like, fat people are gross. You're gross. And it is gross. I've been fat and I've been lean. He's right. Even though I've been fat, I can own when I'm fat. That's gross and ugly. I'm not such an insecure little diva pussy bitch that I need to be like society today and say, oh, let's embrace fat as beauty. It's unhealthy, it's sick and disgusting. When you go to boot camp, you're getting ready for war, and it's hell and it hurts. So when it's time to come out and hit Normandy Beach, you're ready to kill and stay alive and win the war and go home. You go into war, you go in and you drop a bomb and you destroy stuff, and then you get out. If it's a quagmire like Vietnam or Iraq, you're there for 10, 20 years, and you're just goofing around and dilly-dallying around. That's what most guys do, and they walk out totally destroyed because they didn't go through a little. I went through hell for 7 months and got full custody of my daughter. I'm a white man who had a biracial daughter, got full custody of her at age 7 months. All the odds were against me. And you got an excuse? I was a warehouse worker who flunked out of college with no legal experience, immediately facing a 17-year experienced attorney, a guardian ad litem, a radical feminist, man-hating lesbian who got molested by her dad probably, What's your punk ass bitch excuse for not fighting? See, this is why you don't like me. I'm eliminating all the excuses. Now, you may still lose, but at least you go for it. And next time around, when the mother wants to modify and reduce your time, she's going to be a little leery of doing it because you wore her down in court and made her life a living hell. That's what usually happens. Guys get screwed in court and they settle and they give up their rights because they got worn down psychologically and abused. That's what watch the documentary Divorce Court. It's a psychologically torturing system to wear you down and get you to surrender. Don't give in to that. That's the warfare right there. If you want me to be nice, here's the nice thing. They're going to try and psychologically wear you down. Don't give into it. Be a warrior and fight and use every recourse available. You don't know what that recourse is? Well, you should contemplate possibly watching all of my videos and going to court and observing court like a lot of guys who got full custody without even consulting with me. Or you could get a consult with me and have all the answers you need the first time around or maybe within a couple of appointments. If you have trial coming up, you usually need a good 5 hours to get ready for trial because that's 3 years of law school and a couple years of lawyering that I cram in to get ready for trial. Every single person who's ever commented what they got out, not everybody comments at the end of a consult, oh, I got so much out of here. I mean, they say they do, but when they comment compared to what their attorney said, 100% of people told me I learned more from you in this one consult than I learned from my attorney the whole time I was represented. There you go. Does that make you feel good in your sweet little tender dear heart? Mr. Organic, Beyond Organic Farm, who dealt with 47 cases, who knows better than me, even though I dealt with 25,000 cases over 23 years. Dumbass. I hope your organic farm prospers. I know Monsanto, what they'll do is they'll buy up farmland around an organic farm, and because the pollination carries over to the organic farm, then you're no longer qualified as an organic farm because a non-organic farm is right next door, and it basically polluted your organic farm, so you can't qualify for that. I know that kind of stuff goes on, so hopefully that doesn't happen to you. So I hope you prosper with whatever organic farm thing you have, but as far as family court, you're a punk-ass, ignorant, dumbass bitch, and you need to repent of your faggotry ways. I had my children kidnapped by their mother, got them back, and kids didn't want to leave. So she abandoned them for 7 years. I prosecuted my own divorce in 2009. Great. So what are you crying about? That's the organic farm guy again. That wasn't her case. Now was it, James? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, dumbass. You just want to argue with me like a nagging little bitch just to argue with me. This started off remember Dylan, ouch, James, haha. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Great, you won and got your kids. Great. What are you fighting with me for? You guys, this is a great example. This organic farms guy tells me, you know what you're talking about? I just don't like your tone. I tell him to shut the hell up. Then he says, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I fought 47 cases. Then he's bragging about how he got his kids after the mom abandoned them. Okay. She took the kids, you got them back, and then she abandoned them. So that made it easy for you. Great. Congratulations. Why are you fighting me? This is why there's no father's rights movement, because dumbass, arrogant pricks like this bitch is sitting here fighting with me for now at the end we find out this guy got custody. What are you arguing with me for? I've helped 300 dads. I stopped counting at 300 of dads who got full custody without a lawyer. You cannot find one lawyer in America who helped a dad get full custody more than 10 times. Some of them most of the ones I've asked said never, because they never even try. I've got better results than attorneys. You don't like my tone. Get the F off my page then, bitch. What's working for me is working. I don't want to babysit, counsel, pastor, spoon, cuddle, and hug with somebody while they whine and cry and tell me for hours and hours why they can't do it. If you want to call me, that means you're ready to learn something and try something different. I've had case, like I gave you a case where a dad got 50-50. All he did was file paperwork and send a set of interrogatories that were ready to go. All he had to do was tweak them. That freaked the mother out. He barely had to lift a finger, and most dads won't even do that. And this guy wants to argue with me about my tone, and I help the guy get full custody. That's great that you got full custody. I commend you for that. I would never crap on that. But you're a hypocritical house slave type of sellout bitch where you're shitting on me, and I'm helping guys win. I just congratulated you on getting your kids. Your kids deserve you and need you. I would never take it personally that your dumbass, retarded, female-like nagging of me on here would cause me to turn around and insult you and say something that's not true, like your kids don't need you, or, like guys usually criticize me, oh, your poor daughter, she has a narcissistic, psycho, anger management dad. Okay, so why didn't the mother get full custody away from me then? See, nobody can win with me. I just congratulated the guy, if he has an organic farm, that's a great thing he's doing. I just found out he got full custody. Why the hell are we arguing? God dang, you guys are worse. You're just further proving you're worse than a female. There's cases where I came on board and helped a dad or tried to help a dad and some women, and they still lost. I can admit that too. I've already admitted there's no way to predict how a corrupt system is going to work. There's great lawyers who have lost criminal cases and they got innocent clients who are in prison because they got railroaded. But the vast majority of people who get on the offensive and fight the right way get the proper results. And here I am. All I did was come on and make a comment about a guy who lied and said that I'm a liar. And then I got fruity gay boys coming on here, nagging me. And we're both on the same team. We want dads to get full custody. I got full custody. This guy gets full custody. And he's sitting there insulting me saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. Why? Because he got his bitch-made punk thong wearing ass hurt or something from something I said. Yeah, I sound like an asshole. That's great. Now what? What? What do you want me to do about it? Go start your own. You got full custody. Go start your own father's rights group and help guys win custody since you don't like what I'm doing. Or shut the hell up, you bitch-made little faggot. God almighty. I'm sitting here arguing with another dad. We both got full custody, and he's arguing with me. You would think we could at least agree upon this stuff. You think he would have said, look, I don't like your tone, but what you're saying is work. Good for you. I wish you would be nicer. Instead, he said, that ain't going to work. Change up. And I said, screw you. And then he says, you don't know what you're talking about. I got 47 cases, and I've done 24,953 more cases than him, and he's talking shit to me. This is why I rarely do videos like this, because more fruity gay boys come on board, and they get a gay stalker hard on and get aroused with nagging me like only a female would. Inexanity beyond what did you file? I'm not sure what your question is. You're asking about what did I file in my case? How are they getting away with kidnapping? There's absolutely no way the cousin can keep your grandkids from the father unless the mother has them now. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about a scenario where a cousin got full custody of a kid through the courts can do that in some states. But I know all kinds of cases where I got a client who the grandmother was hiding the daughter from the dad. And the mother said the daughter ran away. I don't know what to do. And she didn't call the cops. So the dad called the cops. And then the cops went to the grandmother and they said, oh, well, it's a civil matter. So you got all kinds of dumbasses going on doing stuff like this. But that dad got a hold of me after he had no visitation. He was already behind the 8 ball. If we would have got, his attorney told him not to appeal the decision. His attorney told him not to do reconsideration and stuff like that. So that guy was just too far gone. So I'm not sure if that's dealing with that. Beyond Organics Farm, that wasn't our case. Now was it, James? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Remember, Dylan? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Um, so Beyond Organics Farm is just nagging like a little bitch, rambling on. Um, X is talking to her. Oh, okay. My bad. You're talking to organics. So I got lost. Organics rambling on like a bitch about some stuff. So anyway, I wish all the fathers could get along. I've been last Father's Rights Movement meeting I went to. A dad stood up and he said, I haven't seen my kids in about a year. I'm like, do you got a parenting plan? Yeah. Why don't you do contempt? Oh, I did contempt and lost. Why don't you do another contempt? If somebody breaks in your house and steals something and the cops don't find them and they break into your house again, would you not call the cops again? Why don't you do contempt again? A lot of times they give people a slap on the wrist. I told them, hey, look, I got my baby's mom found in contempt the very first try. I've seen other people. There's a guy I know. He lost 3 contempts in a row, but they gave him makeup time because they acknowledged the mother shouldn't have let him see the kid. They should have found him in contempt. Then he got her found in contempt 5 times after that. And then the child was about 16 and kind of brainwashed. And so that's the same guy who got to me too late. But this guy won 5 contempts. And he was getting makeup time and stuff. And then the mother was hating him so bad. And his case was so far gone that she brainwashed the child. But this guy in the Father's Rights Movement meeting is telling me, he's saying I lost 1 contempt, so I can't do it anymore. That's a punk ass bitch. You quit on your kid after 1 try? What if your kid was kidnapped and disappeared, a total stranger, and you had a lead that they were in Spokane, Washington, and you followed that lead and they weren't there, or you just missed them, and they moved on to another place? Would you say, dang it, I'm just going to quit and give up on my kid because I tried 1 time? Or would you keep looking for your kid? So that's what the Father's Rights Movement does. They'll say, oh, I tried and I lost, the system's corrupt. Quitters. And so I was talking to him. I'm like, dude, you can do this. I've had countless guys get the mother found in contempt, or they lost the first contempt. They got a slap on the wrist. Then they were warned again. Then they were warned again. Just keep at it. He's like, no, and he didn't like me because that takes too much effort because he's a bitch. The Father's Rights Movement, folks, they didn't want to talk about solutions. They want to talk about, let's go in and talk to politicians about changing the laws to 50-50. And I have a video on my YouTube channel. You change the laws to 50-50, that doesn't change anything. There's already 50-50 laws in the books. The best interest of the child, it's usually 50-50, or custody to the father. A lot of states have presumptions of joint custody, and they don't award joint custody because they say, oh, you're abusive. And that's when it's time. That's when it's time for the father to call the mother out on the lies about abuse and cite Judge Judy, Divorce Corp, the Illinois Bar Journal, the California Bar Association. There's countless attorneys out there and documentaries and judges and Harvard law professors and investigative reporters. And that's what I have a packet on in my store. It's $45 to help you fight off a protection order. It's not 100% guarantee. Nothing I do is 100% guarantee. If you don't try these things, it's 100% guarantee of a loss. That's what I do guarantee. But if you go to court and say the mother's lying, women always lie, they'll think you're a chauvinist. But if you go on there and say attorneys, judges, documentaries, Seattle Weekly did an investigation into the Seattle court system, them handing out those water. The Illinois Bar Journal, the California Bar Journal, the California Family Law section of the Bar Association. These entire bodies of attorney bar associations have found that women lie about protection orders all the time. Here's another sad case of it. Then they'll believe you because you got all this backing. Now, you don't even have to get my packet. Go do the research and compile all that stuff. But this is stuff I compiled over a 2 or 3 year period, and I kept piling it on and adding a quote here and a quote there. And the court has to believe their own peers. They don't have to believe you because you're just a dumb pro se dad. That's the way they look at you at first. But after a while, and in my case, my judge one time at a hearing said, James is very smart, and he's allowed me to become a better judge and get me more well-informed. That's what my judge said after I criticized him. I got him reversed in the Court of Appeals. When I won my reversal, which is thoroughly embarrassing to a judge to get reversed, when I won it, I emailed all 40-something judges in Seattle's King County. And I said, look at this dumbass judge. He violated the law, told the mother she didn't have to pay Daycare and medical is a child support issue. He can't read basic fundamental law. He was bigoted toward me. He bent over backwards for the mother to be a do-gooder, little JFK meets Jesus, white savior of the mother, libtard, social justice warrior, savior of the mother. And this is the presiding judge of King County. I emailed everybody in the courthouse, the clerks and the judges. So he has to go to work and look around like, oh my God, everybody saw I got reversed by James's appeal. Damn, this is freaking embarrassing. I disturbed his bubble. And a couple years later, when we had to go back to court again, he gives me a compliment in open court. Now, it was a kiss-ass compliment because he's going to rule against me, but he still did it. And you guys are afraid of doing that. That's insane to me. All I did was go in there. When I came across the truth, I said, here's the truth. Listen to it, Your Honor. Here's the law. Listen to it, Your Honor. And when they ignored me, I appealed or I did it again. Here's the scientific data. Listen to it. And some of them listened to me and were compelled. I got the mother found in contempt, got 5 days a week, all that kind of stuff, got custody, won in the Court of Appeals, fought off bogus restraining orders, called them out for their stupidity, filed a bar complaint against the attorney. I found out the attorney used a racial slur against the Asian woman. He used to lose cases on purpose for women clients so they go broke and say, you can come live with me. And then he'd tell them you could work off your bill by working for free as a legal secretary in my home office. He created a slave labor operation. I reported that to the bar. I was investigating him. I found a case where a lady sued him for malpractice. I made his life a living hell when he represented her. Nobody had stood up to him. When I called around and I was, calling around, talking to attorneys, what if you came on board in my case? I was just trying to feel them out and get free information and stuff. They said, oh my God, you're dealing with Don Farrell. I need 10,000 instead of 5,000. That guy does stuff to drive up costs. They're like, I'm not going to take the case. I don't deal with Don Farrell. Attorneys were afraid of him, and I destroyed the guy in the Court of Appeals twice and in Superior Court multiple times. Now, he won some stuff. If I win one case against an attorney who retires with 50 years experience, he looks like an idiot. If I win one pickup game with Michael Jordan, he looks like a sorry loser. He should destroy me in 10 out of 10 pickup games. An attorney should destroy me in 100 out of 100 pieces of litigation. I made these people's lives a living hell. And it was hard for me, and it was harder than it is nowadays because I didn't have the internet like I did. I definitely didn't have stuff mapped, so the internet was out. Court forms were available online. Some stuff was available online. But like I said, I had to go to the law library. I had to go to Kinko's. It's so easy to do this stuff from home now, from your own bedroom. There's no excuse. If you fought your case with half-ass of an effort that I fought mine, you would destroy anybody in your way. If you half-assed what I did, but people don't even want to do that. People literally go to court. They get crushed with the trauma that comes with their first loss in court because it's shocking, obviously. You walk into court, hey, I want to be a good dad. And she comes in and says, well, he's a monster, he's a child abuser and all this stuff. And you're like, no, I'm not. And they believe her. And you're shocked. But you hire a dumbass attorney who doesn't get on the offensive attacking their lies, and then you get screwed. And then you call somebody like me. I'm like, do a reconsideration, do a revision, do an appeal from a magistrate to a judge. Challenge going to mediation. Or go to mediation representing yourself and sit there for 8 hours and make it cost her $3,000. All these tactics that work. And nobody wants to do them because you got crushed the first time you got blindsided. Maybe you got PTSD. Maybe you got traumatized. But is your kid worth fighting through that trauma? If you're a warrior in Vietnam or a soldier in Vietnam or in Germany, is it worth it to you to go through the hell to make sure you make it home? Like, think about a movie like Saving Private Ryan. Half the time they were sitting around, they just wanted to go home. They want to get home. But they had to press forward to kill or be killed so they can get home. Get home to your family, your kids. They got to be worth it. You got to go through the hell. You're stuck there. If Canada starts bombing us, are we going to sit around, oh my God, I like Canadians. Why are they doing this to me? I can't believe that they're doing this. That's not very nice of them. While you're sitting around whining and crying and wanting to make love, not war, you might get bombed. Pick up a gun and fight. It's kill or be killed. That's how war is. It's unfortunate. Nobody wants it. Nobody likes it. But what warriors do is they go anyway. I saw an NFL Films episode one time, and they were talking about a kickoff team coverage guy, or maybe it was one guy who was an all-star or Pro Bowl player on the kickoff team. For those of you who don't know football very well, when you kick the ball off, people are running full speed, 25 miles an hour, and the other team is trying to return the ball. And so you're going to have some major crazy collisions because they get 30 yards to run at you. Throughout most of the game, people get 5 or 10 yards to build up steam and run at you. These people are coming full speed, 30 yards. So it might be the scariest part other than getting blindsided by a safety coming across the middle as the receiver. This guy said, who was an all-star, he said, the brave people are the ones who are scared, who go anyway. If you want the absence of fear in your court case, quit now and go home and cry and be a bitch. You're either a warrior or a bitch. There's no in between. That's the reality of this. You have to go. If you're in a contested case, if you're in a case where the mother wants to work stuff out, then what I'm saying doesn't apply. Or the mother abandons your kids or walks away, then you don't have a fight. But if you have a fight over your kids and they're lying about you, there's a bunch of weapons you can use in the war, and I have a bunch of them. And in some cases, sometimes I don't find out where your weapons are until we get a consult. I might do some research if you're in New Hampshire, and I haven't done a New Hampshire case in a while. We go look up the laws in New Hampshire, and then we find some case law, or find a case where a dad won and got custody, and like, okay, here's a weapon that you can use that I didn't know about. But generally, the law is that, generally the strategy is the same warfare. You exercise everything, there's a technique. People call me up, do you know the laws in Texas? Do you know the laws in New York? Do you know the laws in Florida? Who gives a damn whether I know them or not? I know how to fight this, and I've helped people win full custody, 50-50, or do better in every state. It's the warfare. Now, you need to know the law. But everybody wants to be fully reassured that I know everything before they get a consult. Go look at my winning court orders. I won in court over and over again against two wicked guardian lions, 2 wicked attorneys, and a wicked baby's mom. This stuff is straightforward. I'm going to jump off of here and make sure nobody asks any questions that they wanted some answers to. I like the do-over idea. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about doing reconsideration and doing it again and again or whatever. Ogdrary, I'm not sure if Ogdrary Dragon Yisrael, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. It says, motion for new trial, reconsideration, appeal, administrative, stacking, everything, keep having them to be checked. Yeah, they have the Court of Appeals because judges get stuff wrong. They have levels to Court of Appeals. You could go to district court, like in Washington, district court, appeal to Superior Court, appeal to the Court of Appeals, appeal to the Supreme Court, appeal to the United States Supreme Court. And all those courts can get it wrong until you get to the United States Supreme Court. That's what happened in like Brown versus Board of Education. They said separate but equal is not equal, and then they let black people go to the same schools as white kids. But for 80 years, the country had it wrong. They thought separate but equal is equal. Because the culture was racist, we interpreted the Constitution and the law wrongly. Because this culture is misandrous and anti-father, they interpret father's rights wrongly, and these punk-ass bitch judges get up there, and they were lawyers at family law firms or whatever, and they always railroaded dads, and the dads, the men are such sellout punk-ass bitches that they're just every other weekend dads, so they think that's all you need, as long as you stay in your lane and stuff, then they'll get her found in contempt, because they're like, oh, you should let them have us every other weekend, but if you want 50-50 or full custody, oh my God, look at you. How dare you do that? And then you explain to them why. But there's all kinds of recourse available. I'm not quitting after the first try. If you're trying to get into college, you could take the SAT and you don't get enough to get in. Or you just think about your driver's test. Any of you flunk your first driver's test? I did. I backed around a corner. The lady could barely speak English. I misunderstood her instructions, and then I backed up around the car. I thought she said something else. And she's like, oh, yeah, I backed up around a corner. I kind of hit the curb too hard. But then she also gave me instruction. I didn't understand what she said, and I did the instruction wrong. At the parking lot I'm sitting in, this guy came in flying 30 miles an hour, like it makes him cool or something. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying now. But I was talking about you should use every bit of driver's license. If you fail your driving test, you'll try it again, won't you? And again and again. I think my daughter flunked twice. She has a learning disability issue, so there's problems with some of that. I think she had to try it 3 times. So you guys will try again and again when it comes to a driver's license, but you won't try again and again when it comes to your life with your kid. That sounds really pathetic when I put it like that, doesn't it? Can you empathize with why I'm outraged at guys who tell me I can't, I tried once and that's it, and I quit on my kids, and I call them a quitter when I give them all the options and there's nothing else left except he quits? Pathetic. And I get people visiting me first couple times around because they're looking for a quick fix, and they come in and they want a quick fix and they demand, hey, how do I do this? And they want me to write a book in the comments instead of getting a consultation because they don't want to spend money, because they spend $100,000 on an attorney, and a $100 appointment with me for an hour and a half to give them all the answers they need isn't worth it to them. Pathetic. Anyway, yeah, exercise every bit of recourse you got. I'm in the process of also filing ex parte. I have a quick question. I filed a motion for new trial. Can I also file the ex parte? It all depends on what the rules are, or what your facts of your situation is. If you have a basis for an ex parte order and it's an emergency and you can make that argument, then yeah. If you have a ruling that's bad, then you have a bad ruling. And if the reconsideration rules apply and you should be able to have it reconsidered, you should be able to have it. So you just got to look at everything on an individual basis. Do I have a basis for this motion? Yes, because the court, like on reconsideration, one of the rules for reconsideration to have a new trial is substantial justice has not been done. You could have new evidence that appeared after the hearing that you didn't have a chance to get. You could have, there's like 9 rules on reconsideration in most states. So let's say you have a substantial justice not done. You have a basis for reconsideration. Now let's say the mother moved in with a boyfriend who's a pedophile. That's a basis for an emergency order to change custody. Or if she's going to threaten to take flight with the child and you want an emergency order to keep the child in the county or in the state, that's a basis to go to ex parte. Those are 2 separate things, and one of them doesn't overlap the other or cancel out the other. That's kind of straightforward. Insanity with an X, saying going for full custody. That's what every dad should do. If a doctor ruined your stomach in a surgery and it's going to cost you $100,000 to fix it, and then you might lose out on work for the next 3 years and you make $50,000 a year, you should ask for at least $250,000. But you should also estimate the max other problems and complications you'll have or whatever. And you should go for the maximum amount. You should go for the maximum amount in a custody battle. Like guys say, oh, I don't want to, this is what the Father's Rights Movement says. We don't want to stoop that low and say one parent gets custody. If the other parent's abusive and withholding the child, that mother's a child abuser, you dumbass. Why would you want 50-50 for that child abusing mother? She's an alienating, narcissistic, toxic person who will brainwash the kids against the father. Why would you say it's honorable for you to go to 50-50? Because your punk-ass, bitch-made mentality says, make love, not war, peace, get along with everybody. You know, let's not put pedophiles in jail. Let's allow them to rehab. Let's give them counseling or whatever. All this pacifist bullshit. You go for the throat. She's going for custody. Why don't you go for custody? They're not going to give you 50-50. You have a better chance of getting custody than 50-50. Why the hell would you not go for 50? And I'm not yelling at this dude. I'm talking about the mentality that the Father's Rights Movement says, oh, we want to win a Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts ribbon for honorable integrity and going for 50-50. Who the hell is it going to help if you go for 50-50 against a vicious woman who's going for full custody? And you say, I'm not going for full custody because that's taking the child away from the mother. No, you stupid, dumbass, airheaded, moronic zombie who can't use any deductive reasoning. If you got full custody and she's able, or you think that she should have more than every other weekend, then you have full custody and you can let her have every other weekend, you stupid dumbass. This is how stupid these idiots are. Oh, I want to win honorable bonus points with the court by going for 50-50. What you're doing is you're saying that mother is so wonderful, she should have the child 50% of the time. And your winning argument is what a child abuser she is. And you just gave her credibility, and she turns around and crucifies you and say, you're a monster. You just said she is credible and moral and believable. And you helped her case, you stupid, pathetic piece of shit. Because you want to win brownie points and you don't want to lower yourself to hers. If you get full custody, you can let her see the kids as much as you want. And dads are usually generous with that. Now, there's some narcissistic child abusing fathers who aren't generous like that. If the mother gets full custody, she will never give you 1 minute over your time. So you Father's Rights Movement advocates, group leaders can go to hell and screw off. Literally. If you went to court and you lost over and over and you want to help the Father's Rights Movement, don't start a group and say you know what the hell you're talking about when you're a loser. If you're a midget who got cut from your middle school basketball team, don't say my basketball camp is better than Michael Jordan's. You're a loser. Say, I know a couple things about basketball. You might be better off learning a fadeaway jumper from Michael Jordan, because obviously he's Michael Jordan. But here's some things that I know. But the Father's Rights Movement groups are filled with losers. And I have countless guys who come to me who went to Father's Rights Movement groups, went to a meeting, got on Facebook, and he asked for information, and they got bad advice, and they got screwed because of it. And then they come on my page and say, James, you're right. Every dad's a pussy. The Father's Rights Movement is full of crap. There's nobody out here but you. That's enough to make this stuff worth it to me. Even though I have to go through this stupid bullshit, and the organic farm guy is going to nag me like a little bitch, and I'm going to call him what he is instead of him manning up and just saying, I don't like your tone. I don't think it's appropriate. And I say, that's too bad. This is my channel. Go somewhere else. Kick rocks. And then he starts saying, you don't know what the hell you're talking about because I've dealt with 47 cases. And then I tell him I dealt with 25,000. I don't know what else he said after that. I don't give a damn. I don't want to jibber jabber with some drama queen nagging little bitch, housewife wannabe tranny dude. That's great. He got custody of his kids. Hopefully he doesn't teach the boys, if he has boys, to be fruity gay boys like him. But I really came on here to expose the guy who said I'm a liar. Because a lot, people come on my page. I hate false doctrine. People come on my page and will falsely say something that's not true and lead people astray. Oh, you can't do that. Don't listen to James. And it's worked for other people. And the person who came on there is somebody who lost hope and has no hope, and because they have a depressed. Now, think about somebody who's depressed or suicidal. Well, everybody around them wants them to live. They don't want them to kill themselves. But they're so clouded and in such a fog that their reality is distorted. Just like a girl who's anorexic and thinks she's fat. And you try and convince that person it's not as bad as you think it is. Don't kill yourself. There's stuff to live for. We love you. It's selfish. You're going to leave us distraught and depressed that you're gone. You're of value to us and that they can't see it. I tell guys, look, Here's my winning orders over and over again. I've won. Countless guys have won. Look at the testimonials in the comments. Look at on Instagram, the hashtag HIGC testimony. I had dozens more, but my Instagram got deleted because somebody's arguing with me and mad that I responded and snitched to Instagram and I got deleted or something like that. I don't know. But, guys get such a doom and gloom attitude that they don't even want to hear the truth, that they don't want to even hear a way out because they got themselves in such a hole. And I understand how you get there, but you got to think about your kids. Stop being a quitter. Guys who commit suicide, I understand how they get to that point, but there's guys who actually listened to my story and I told them what I've been through. And they said they would have killed themselves if they went through what I went through. I went through 7 months of hell to get custody. Then the mother dragged me in court for a year and a half to modify the parenting plan and was calling me a monster. And then her attorney did it again and again and again for 20 years in and out of court. And the judge believed them sometimes. And I got thrown in jail for not appearing at a hearing that I never got served for. And my daughter was tortured and tormented. She thought I was going to be in jail for months. I was in jail for 8 days. I should have got out the next day. It was on a bench warrant. I should have been in front of the judge, and that should have been it. And the judge ordered that the mother had to pay, that I had to give the mother my tax return, or the mother could claim taxes every year for the next 4 years of the rest of my kids' 18 years. He modified our child support so that I could get out of jail, on top of giving the mother school and medical records, which she already had access to, which she already accessed before I went to jail. So I've had a whole bunch of travesties go on. And I was in and out of court for 20 years. And then some bitch-made little punk quitter on his kid is mad because he lost one hearing and he's ready to quit at the beginning of his case, and he's going to tell me I can't do it. I'll give him one pep talk, and after that, if he doesn't want it, I don't got time to do that. I'm not here to save the world. I'm here to empower the few guys who want to fight and want to go to war. And you know that I know what I'm talking about. Even if you're fighting me, you know I know what I'm talking about. Even the bitch-made faggot who was on here sitting there telling me, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Before that, he said, you know what you're talking about. So what's the problem? This thing will probably get deleted off of YouTube, or I'll get a warning. But dude, you need to wake the hell up. Stay in your lane. Go create a whole... If you think this is not the way the father's rights group should happen, and you got full custody of your kids, and you've done 47 cases, why the hell aren't you creating your own father's rights group? Oh, because you don't got time, because you're doing your organic farm, or you're doing your job. Then shut the hell up, and let me do what's working for guys. Mr. YouTube warrior, let me save everybody from anything harsh that'll hurt their pet, sensitive little feelings. I just don't got time for the BS. Warning from LGBT community. Yeah, I'm sure. You know what's crazy about them is when they complain about stuff. Like a lot of times the LGBT community aligns themselves with civil rights and say, well, we have our own civil rights movement. Were you slaves? Sometimes, you're walking on the street, people can't tell whether you're gay or trans or whatever. They can't see you. If a black person walked down the street on the wrong side of the sidewalk in Alabama in 1940, they might get lynched just by, they can look at them and see them. You're out of place. You don't belong here. The LGBT community is saying they have the same civil rights movement. They're a bunch of overly sensitive little bitches. There's somebody who's mentally confused about who they are, and they need affirmation because they didn't get it from their dad. There's a guy who has a Christian ministry. He used to be gay, and he helps guys get out of the gay lifestyle. Secular psychologists have a 40% success rate, people changing and stuff. And they say it's hatred for somebody to go through that. What if somebody voluntarily wants to do that? There's people who switch teams all the time voluntarily anyway. Oh, I'm switching teams, or I'm going to go gay. I'm going to go bi, and Anyway, but that group is so pathetic. They say we have the same civil rights movement. They are shitting on black people. They are saying your suffering is equal to ours. There were not You couldn't be a gay person and be falsely accused of raping a straight person, and the entire lynch mob would come after you and lynch you in front of. Now there's tragedies that happen to different gay people, like that Shepherd dude or whatever. But black people on the regular were getting noosed, hanged, beat up. Were there gay people that were hosed down by the police or dogs attacking them? No. The stuff you get overly sensitive over, somebody calling you a gay slur or somebody saying what you're doing goes against nature. Here's the thing. If gay marriages are so equal, how come an egg or a sperm union can't create a child? Mother Nature is the homophobe, you idiot. You are inferior to a heterosexual couple with a sperm egg union. They can create a child. You can't. That's why they have to adopt or hijack a heterosexual or a sperm egg union, because they're incapable of it. Go do what you want to do, but don't hijack somebody else's stuff. But anyway, my point with that, they're so sensitive. They want to create laws that if you make fun of me or don't like what I'm doing, you should go to jail. Black people never did that. Black people were like, just leave us alone. Frederick Douglass says, what shall the white man do with the black person? With the black man? Leave us the hell alone. Let us fall on our face and make mistakes and live life. When people are free, allowed to be free, any group of people generally thrive and grow and develop. And black people, they went out of slavery in one generation, they went from slavery to a 50% literacy rate. And linguists are saying that's a modern miracle. So black people have thrived when they're left alone. Okay? And black people tolerate a whole lot of subtle racism, women clutching their purses, you get on the elevator and you get in the corner, and all this just stuff that torments people. And friends of mine, I've been pulled over by cops, and I have black friends in the car, and they treat me way different. All that subtle stuff is tormenting. You guys as men, as fathers, know what it's like to be treated differently as a father compared to a woman and assumed to be a bad person. That's tormenting. So black people have dealt with that. That doesn't happen to gay people en masse. But black people, they tolerate that stuff and just let it roll off, and they're used to it. They just want to be left alone. Gay people want to go out of their way and demand that you acknowledge them, give them affirmation, and then agree with their lifestyle and what they're doing, and you have to agree with it and believe it. When we got all kinds of groups that are still part of that liberal group who say, don't go pushing your religion on me, don't go pushing your beliefs on me, and then they do it. They are the most insecure, mentally ill, lacking fatherly affirmation, no self-identity, and if you don't acknowledge them and affirm them, then they're a punk ass bitch, and they get triggered because you didn't affirm them. Not only did you make fun of them, it's not even that you made fun of them and say, oh, gay, faggot, dyke or whatever. It's that you didn't affirm and acknowledge what they're doing because they need affirmation. And because of their emotional need, because they're mentally ill, I know some gay people, they're cool, and they get sick of the radical gay fringe also. But the ones who are making this policy and want, since you guys are parents and stuff, I didn't know this, but Jordan Peterson said that transvestites or drag queens, they become sexually aroused when they dress up in drag. And they're allowed to go to school and read books to your kids while they're in a state of being sexually aroused. That's effing sick. And then they want to say that we're bigots if we don't like that. The fact that, like I said, black people tolerate stuff. I know black people who say, I don't care if a dude hates my guts, just stay in your lane and hate my guts from afar. Gay people are like, they want to go hunt you down and lynch you for not liking them. Nobody in the world does that. Only the LGBTQ community gets so sensitive that they need laws to pass to affirm me and make me feel good. And men in family court are really borderline close to that stuff, because they need a bunch of affirmation and a bunch of encouragement and a bunch of help and a bunch of support to go to war. I was outnumbered 1-4 every single time I ever went to court. And when I first went to court, my baby's mom had the judge. The bailiff was trying to punk me and bully me. The mother, her sister, a girl I dated, her boyfriend, who was an ex-roommate of mine, testifying against me, another roommate of hers. I was outnumbered 7-1 on my restraining order hearings at the beginning. What's your excuse? Oh, I outnumbered. I had a kid with a crazy woman. I didn't listen to my conscience. I didn't listen to God and stay away from her. I have a kid that came into this world that's not her fault. I have to go and fight for her. The end. No matter what it takes, how it feels, how much time, how many sleepless nights. I'm going to work and I'm coming home and working on my case. If I don't find anything, maybe I'll sulk and cry about it. But the next day I'll get up and figure out a way, talk to the Dads Against Discrimination, go look at a book, go read something. And see, the stuff that I had to find, it took me weeks to find it. Well, I found Dads Against Discrimination kind of right away. But it was after I turned down Goldberg and Jones, a father's rights law firm who said I'll get it every other weekend. I said, I work at night. I could be my daughter's daycare. They said, you still get it every weekend. I'm like, you won't fight for me being my daughter's daycare? To hell with you, and hung up on their face. See, that's my conscience. I don't give a damn what somebody thinks. When they say something stupid to me, I'm not following it. And I lost friends. I had people that were roommates. Like I said, one guy testified against me because he's dating a chick that I used to date, so he hates me like a bitch. His name is Kimo Evans, Kimoevans. Very unique name. He's in Tacoma, Washington. He's a graphic arts design. He's a sellout to men because he was the only male among about 10 to 12 different women who testified against me, and he turned into a little faggoty girly girl and wanted to destroy my life with my daughter because he's mad because I dated his girlfriend a couple years earlier, and she flirted with me afterward, and I thought she liked me, and I gave into that, and so he's mad at me like a diva little bitch. So Kimo Scott Evans, that's probably the biggest sellout and most evil person I've dealt with in my family law case. And everybody else is corrupt, of course, the judges and stuff. But I did a video on him and his girlfriend, and then they saw it and got taken down. I probably should do it again. But they wanted to destroy my life with my kids, so I'm letting everybody know what their legacy is. On Facebook, all our mutual friends know what they did to me. I posted their actual documents. Some people think I look stupid. Some people said, hey, why are you lowering yourself to their level? I'm like, bitch, where were you when I was going through this stuff? Were you there testifying and helping me? No, shut the hell up. You don't know what the hell I went through. They wanted to destroy my life with my kids, and they got up and moved on, and they kept it a secret, and everybody loves them. I'm letting everybody know what an evil demon Mary Beth Solscheid Evans and Kimo Scott Evans are in Tacoma, Washington. They wanted to destroy my life. Now, that's fine that you hate me. Just hate me. Don't go and try and destroy my life with my child and deprive my child of a father out of your personal vindictive bitch-made vendetta. So, you guys think I didn't go through anything. Some people say, oh, you had it easy. You won your custody battle in 7 months. I went to war and did everything it took to get that. That's like telling somebody, oh, you lost 100 pounds in 7 months. You had it easy. No, they went to war with their own body and their own cravings and ate clean and worked out. And they put in the work, you punk ass hater bitch. I just can't stand people who can't acknowledge reality of what's going on. Like even a hater bitch made fruity gay boy in here, this organic farms dude. I acknowledge what he's doing is cool with organics farms. When he said he got full custody, I said that's great. My haters will tell me my daughter doesn't deserve me and that poor girl and stuff like that. They won't give me credit like that. That's the feminine male of America in Western society that we got nowadays. I did not plan on being on here this long. I should have done this at home. I'm sitting in a parking lot. If any of you ever heard Sir Mix-a-Lot, he has a song called My Posse's on Broadway, and he says, let's go back the other way to eat at Dick's. He mentions this burger joint, Dick's, which is like, goes back to the 50s. Not Dick's Sporting Goods, but Dick's Burgers. I'm just sitting in the parking lot. It's the only thing that's open till past 11 o'clock in Seattle. Anyway, I've just been sitting here. Somebody said this man knows his stuff. Thank you. I mean, all you got to do is look at my winning orders. If somebody asked Tom Brady, does he know football? Or Michael Jordan, does he know basketball? Look at their championship trophies and their MVPs. If somebody wonders if I know court stuff, look at my winning court orders on my flow page, which is in the link below every video. Now, I had a flow page, which is like a link tree, has all my links in one, and I show you links to some of my winning court orders. You can look at one right now. Just Google in re parentage RDC. Like run DMC without the M. RDC. That's my reversal in the Court of Appeals representing myself against the biggest, baddest judge in Seattle, which is the biggest, baddest judge, the courthouse in the entire upper left corner of the United States. You can Google that. But I have links in my flow page. Now, I have to go and clean up my old flow page, which is under every video, but I've been putting the new one in the most recent one. Maybe I should do a video about my flow page. But anyway, so my flow page has my contempt, my custody battle, my two wins in the Court of Appeals. I have a discretionary review, which is harder to win than an appeal. I have a transcript. There was a short period of time when I had an attorney. When I went back to court for that relocation, the mother objected to me moving 30 miles while she lived in California, and I went from Seattle to Tacoma. I was afraid to go to trial. I didn't know I could do my own trial. I've had countless guys do their own trials. And I wrote all the paperwork for my attorney. My attorney was cool because he was willing to get in a fight in the court hallway with the baby's mom's attorney, and he punked him and checked him. But I show you guys a transcript. The judge compliments me when I have a guardian license report thrown out. The judge compliments me, and then, or compliments my attorney and says, you know, James's attorney briefed me really well on this issue, and I'm really disturbed about what the mother did. And my attorney jumps and says, actually, Your Honor, James wrote the paperwork. He goes, maybe he should go to law school next. And my attorney is like, I've advised him of doing that himself too. So the judge gave me compliment on my paperwork, how organized it was, which anybody can do. You just write a letter and tell your story and do it in an organized fashion with different headings and subheadings. You don't have to be a legal scholar and it has to look like an attorney. All they want to do is be able to read it in a succinct way and get to the point and not have a bunch of fluff in there. Just get right to the point. Mother withheld the child from me on this day and that day. The court order says this. I texted her and she said, F off. You're not going to see your kids ever again. Look at the Exhibit A. Sometimes it's as simple as that to write paperwork. But I have packets to help people get going. My packets on my store are almost all $45. Just the fact, if all I had was a template with some outline and you had to tell your whole story, that would be worth $45 than the totally blank court forms that you can get in most states. If you have a totally blank form and you don't know how to organize it, structure it, or where to go, you're totally in the dark sometimes. If you have a document that gives you some lead, that's a huge head start that you got. And then you got a document that has a full-blown argument that works for me and other people, and you have to change the law out for your state. That's worth hundreds of dollars by itself. And then if an attorney wrote one of these documents for you, it would cost $1,000. And people get mad. $45 for a trial packet. 3 different samples of trial briefs for marriage, child support, alimony, and all things in one, or just one relocation. A picture of a trial notebook. I mean, it costs less than an appointment with me to see an actual packet. Pictures of a trial notebook, an exhibit list, a witness list, trial briefs, the cheat sheet for the rules of evidence when it comes to trial and objections. They want you to play pretend. I think you're talking about LGBT. Blacks are the most recent to be enslaved, but they definitely weren't the first race to be enslaved. Yeah, I mean, white people were enslaved in North Africa. Middle Easterners, tore up North Africa. White people enslaved white people. Black people enslaved black people after, freed blacks enslaved other blacks. Native Americans enslaved each other. Mexican, every race in the history of the world has enslaved each other. That's one thing I'm learning that I didn't really learn before. And it sucked in this country because it was still happening when we had a constitution. But nothing changes overnight. Civil rights didn't change, women's suffrage didn't change, you know, other things didn't change overnight. And it took, like we're the second culture in the history of the world, like, parts of Europe did it to ban slavery. So it was a good thing what we did. Anyway, I don't need to ramble on about that. That's a whole nother monster. But I have my father's rights guru that Dad's Against Discrimination guy, my mentor. He said child support is the new slavery. Now there's a form of slavery when innocent people go to jail, but outside of that, he's right because family court can kick you out of your home without due process, take your property, life, liberty, and property, your life, your freedom to go wherever you want, restraining order, kick you out of your home with a restraining order or award property. Take your children, that's a constitutional right, and then take your money, life, liberty, and property. Those are that's taken from you without due process. That's a form of slavery. Now there's some other subtle ones like taxes are a form of slavery. We don't even there's no law requiring you to pay income tax, yet everybody does it. And they take all our income tax money and they pad their pockets in the retirement, and they do it for black ops everywhere around the world. And that's why we're fighting in Ukraine, because there's so many black ops over there. Biden and some other people in government are trying to protect their corruption from being exposed over there. That's what Putin was trying to do. Everything the news tells you is bullshit. If you can actually read and pay attention beyond the news, you'll learn that everything they say in the news is total bullshit. Just like when you watch TV and they say mothers are superior and they display mothers bit. Now there's some movies where they have a strong male presence and it's a good one, but it's rare. There's feminists are most of the writers in Hollywood, or gay people, and they hate heterosexual males leading the family. And so they write and depict them like that. They want to eliminate it. If you go to my flow page, there's a 400-page book called In Regarding Custody, Father Custody, or The Case for Father Custody by Daniel Amneas. 400 pages of going back to the original feminist movement in the early 1900s of their attempt to remove the father from the home and make him a paycheck for them. It's been going on for 100 years. It just took them like 80 years to do it. And the Rockefellers helped them do it because they're trying to blindside the civil rights movement. Anyway. But the broken family is partly a derivative of the agenda against black people during the civil rights movement. They started dangling government cheese to women when during the civil rights movement, the black family was intact and a formidable force, and black people were strong and powerful and growing. Employment rate was high, home ownership was high, education was high, and black families were intact. They started dangling government cheese, did redlining, dumped drugs and guns into, later on, 20, 30 years later in the 80s, dumped drugs and guns into areas where they contained them in impoverished neighborhoods. But first and foremost, they made the women dependent on welfare and broke up the family. That was a direct agenda to break up the black family. And they have Planned Parenthood on every corner in black neighborhoods. They don't want the population to grow. And now Mexicans are passing the black population. The black population is stagnant. Everybody else is growing a little bit. So that was an agenda there. Now it's trickled down. Now everybody's hopping the bandwagon. White women and Asian women, they all want to get on welfare, get public assistance to free stuff. And the way to do it is to get your kids. And I had an Asian woman in my job one time. Can't remember. I think she was Cambodian, but she said she has 7 more years to stay married and then she'll divorce her husband. I'm like, why are you doing that? She goes, then I could be fully vested in his retirement. I'm like, you evil hoe. Like, why would you even plot that out? Like, they're just taught to just plan that out like it's a normal thing. You go get married, then you get taken care of after you divorce, after you have kids and crank your kids out. But that really started, that culture that culture and mentality, the welfare mentality was really created. Like, it was always out there. I can't remember exactly when welfare came out, but it was really pushed after that. And black kids went from being born, 75% of them were born into wedlock families, or 80%. Now it's the exact opposite. So guess who's really the tricked out hoe or the house slave when it comes to breaking up the black family? It's the women. They went after some government cheese, some free housing, all this other stuff, and created babies and didn't want a man in the house. because they were following a 400-year-old white supremacist agenda. I did a video on this. That's a great argument for a black man to go in there, especially if you have a white progressive judge who doesn't want to be labeled racist. Your Honor, don't be part of this Willie Lynch 400-year-old slavery agenda to destroy the black family. Our culture, our group has the greatest statistics of absent fathers, and it's detrimental to society. You're releasing a black child into society without a father. You're endangering him. Don't be part of that white supremacist agenda and do that. The only reason you would do that is if you were part of that agenda. Pin that on them. That's an argument to make. But see, none of these dumbass attorneys will even make that stuff because they're too ballless and cowardly. These are the actual things going on, so they're the actual things you should go to court to talk about. If somebody committed murder, you show the actual video. You have actual witnesses. You have the actual murder weapon. But in family court, for some reason, you don't go in with the actual weapon or the actual accusation, or you don't talk about the actual child abuser because it looks bad to talk. When did anybody ever say in any court case, it looks bad when you accuse a monster of being a monster? The monster's the one who looks bad. Only a delusional, brainwashed, punk-ass bitch male attorney who's a fruity little coward and gives into feminism or radical feminist bitch will say, don't go in there and talk bad about the mom. It looks bad. That's a fad they created. That's why I didn't believe any bullshit. If you read the law, it says if somebody emotionally abuses a child, well, it's emotional abuse to take a father away out of a child. 1 + 1 is 2. She's a child abuser. That's what I did in court. I said she lives in a cult-like home where her and her sisters are keeping the child away from me because they hate me. That's a toxic cult-like home. We need to rescue the child from there. I didn't need a law degree to figure that out. And then I talked to guys about that. I'm like, let me run that by my attorney. My attorney says don't do that. Okay, then be a bitch and don't do what works and don't go to court. See, court is the day that you have to prove your case. And you're going to go in there and not talk about the stuff that's really going on in real life? You want to go in there and fake it and pretend that the mother's not an abuser, pretend she's not mentally ill, pretend she's not suicidal, pretend that she doesn't have a boyfriend that's dangerous, and you're hoping by osmosis the judge is going to give you something when you're not even talking about the evidence? Just think if a prosecutor said, you know, I don't want to make the murderer look bad or the pedophile look bad. I don't want to show like pictures of the body stabbed 20 times. That'll make him look really bad. He won't be able to get a job. Your job is to show that this person's a murderer and let the jury decide or the judge decide what the punishment is. And the prosecutor doesn't go, oh, well, let's just do the surveillance. Let's just do the fingerprints. Let's not do the surveillance video and have the actual weapon. Your attorney's like, let's not have all those text messages from the mother and the video of her throwing a rock at your car. It doesn't make any sense. It's insane. So when I tell people, here, go do the common sense, you have to fight yourself to think, well, gosh, I'm going to make the mother look bad. And I'm such a bitch. I'm trying to reconcile with her while she's taking the child away from me. While you're trying to rescue your your girlfriend or your ex-wife. If you lose her, you lose her and the kids. Why don't you go rescue the kids? If there's a chance to reconcile, she'll reconcile after you get the kids. But I'm an asshole for having common sense. The attorneys aid all with the mother. They're only there to make sure you have no appealable offense. I don't even think they think that. I think they just go through the routine. Attorneys come out of law school not knowing how the hell to do anything. I had professors, and when I went back to college, they said they didn't know anything about the law. One guy said he had a hearing, like his third day. Excuse me. His first week on the job, he had a hearing. He said, what do I do? They threw a bunch of books at him and said, study this. You have a hearing tomorrow. He had to figure it out. I worked at a couple law firms. I was at McKinley Irvin in Seattle, the largest family law only law firm in Seattle, which makes it the largest only family law firm in the upper left corner, north of San Francisco, west of Minnesota. Those guys would email each other and say, hey, have you ever dealt with this type of motion, that type of motion? They didn't know everything. They're just doing stuff out of routine. Think about how simple your first hearing was. Your Honor, the mother's trying to get custody. My client just wants every other weekend because we don't want to commit blasphemy and ask for 50-50. Can you give that to us? And the judge says, no, you're going to go through anger management assessment, do this and that. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it. And they walk out and they say, you better jump through that. You better talk to the guardian ad litem, and then we're going to go to mediation. They just get used to that routine, and that's what they do. And that routine is a setup just to keep the business going, and it violates your rights, and they don't stand up to it because that's what they're used to doing. And the attorney, watch what the attorneys say. If you say something, your attorney says, well, that's not how we do it around here. That's not the way things go. This is how, just out of routine. You don't look at the law and say, how come she got custody when she's a child abuser? They go off with the routine, just like the Jim Crow South. Just like the Jim Crow South, like a white public defender defending a dark-skinned black man for raping a white woman. If he's innocent, he'll say, well, just take the plea. Well, I didn't do it. Go to trial. Well, at trial, you're going to get the electric chair. And plus, I don't want to fight that hard for you. The Klan might come after me because they hate me for representing you more than they hate you. You know, so, anyway, yeah, attorneys are a waste of time. Violates the First Amendment, limit association with your child. It's actually the 14th Amendment, the fundamental liberty interest to have a relationship with your kid. It's in the Troxel versus Granville case. A fit parent is presumed to act in the child's best interest. So they can't say, we don't know whether you can handle the child. You are assumed to act in your child's best interest until you're found to be unfit. That's an argument everybody should have. And I tell people to use it, and nobody uses it. And everybody keeps losing. Yeah, there you go. 14th Amendment. The more I learn about female nature, it tells me always fight for your children. The man is the protector and the lead of the home. He's the quarterback of the team. If Tom Brady leaves the Patriots suck. They can have Randy Moss, Edelman, Welker. They could have different linemen. They could have Corey Dillon. They could have interchangeable parts. Tom Brady is maybe the greatest quarterback. I used to not believe the hype. I used to think it was John Elway because he won more with less. But now that he's gone and how horrible they are, he might be better than I even thought he was. When the captain of the ship, when the quarterback, when the CEO, when the leader leaves, when the alpha male of the lion pride leaves, it's all chaos. You're ordained by God, by nature's order, to be the leader of the family. When Robin takes over, Gotham City suffers. You're Batman. The mother is Robin. She's a helper. She can't protect the kids like you can. Pedophiles target single mother homes. They don't target a home with a strong male who's a threat. It's impossible to say the mother is as good of a parent as a dad because the most important thing is the child's safety. She can't protect the child like you can. Now, if you have weapons, that's an equalizer. But by themselves, you ward stuff off just by your mere presence. A pedophile does not want to target a kid with a big 6'4", 220-pound male. Okay? The curse of Eve is women want to rule over the man. So they always want to usurp. For some dumbass reason, it's in their nature. It's part of the curse. And whether people believe that or not, you see women trying to rule over a man, control him, dictate to him. The feminist movement, they don't want equality. They want to dictate and control and take over. So, women are not good leaders of a family. They can't lead a family. They can support the leader of a family. If I'm a secretary at a law office, I'm not a great litigator in the courtroom for trial. I'm a secretary helping them. If I kick the lawyer out of the law firm and I try and go into court and run a trial, I'm going to look like an idiot because I'm not capable of it. That's not my role. That's not what I'm made to do. Pretty simple. Let me see if I missed anything, see if I can catch any questions, then I really need to get off here. One of the main problems is that it's so stressful it makes people scared. Yeah, I know, but you do it anyway. It's stressful to go into a house where your kids are about to be burned alive if your house catches on fire. You go in anyway. What's up with those new questions for trial, James, in your store? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe you're the person who talked to me about questioning somebody on the stand. I did a video talking about initial questions. I haven't been able to get around to do that. Um, Yeah, they need to prove you're unfit before they assume you're not acting in the best interest of the child. But you have to tell them what Troxel versus Granville said. I told my judge that I have a constitutional right to my kid. She said, what constitutional right? This stupid, dumb, airheaded bitch had no idea that I had a constitutional right to my kid. And she was a lawyer for years and a judge. And now she's on some award group now that she's retired. I'm thinking about doing a video on her just to harass her in her retirement. Not harass her, but disturb her bubble and hold her accountable for being an evil, psychotic bitch. Because she actually told me, she gave me 5 days a week. But then she said, you can have the child 4 hours a day and the child can go to daycare 4 hours. If you have the child 8 hours, you'll be too tired. You stupid airheaded bitch. Where do you get that from? I'm going to be too tired? If I have the child 8 hours and I work 8 hours, I actually had a job that was 4 hours and I got paid 8. I could get it done in 4 hours. If I have the child 8 hours and I go to work 8 hours, I have 8 hours of rest and relaxation. If the mother goes to work for 8 hours and then has a child 16 hours, she's the one who'll be exhausted. So that dumbass bitch said some stupid ass bullcrap like that. But I was just glad to see my daughter 5 days a week. And I'm actually glad I had 5 days a week, every week, for a short amount of time because my daughter frequently saw me. It would have been, that's better than if I would have got something like every other weekend because there would have been too many gaps. My child regularly saw me so much that, you know, that helped the transition when I got custody. Okay, I think I got just want to make sure there's no legal questions in here before I get off here. Have you updated your store with trial questions packet? That's what you're talking about. I don't have questions for trial. I mean that would take forever to do that. So that's why I did a video where I talked about where to start from, and you should be able to go off on a tangent. If somebody wants trial questions for their trial, it's best to just get an appointment with me right now. I mean, I'm doing paperwork for some stuff, which is overwhelming and take days and weeks. Because I do paperwork in certain situations, and then I got people calling me, scheduling consults. It's like every 2 out of 7 consults, I don't know, get canceled on me or people are no shows. That's why I'm asking people to pay the night before, the morning of. It's an afternoon one, so I know that they're going to do it. I've had so many people flaking out on me. So, somebody said thank you. Everybody likes this video. I don't know about all that. I never have everybody like anything, but the ones who are honest and real about what's really going on, they know I know what I'm talking about. And I can't believe all the comments I got on here. If I go Instagram live, I get like a couple of questions. And then like one person might want to ask a million questions trying to get a free consult. But that's the motion for new trial question. Always hold women accountable. They are abusive. The more I learn about female nature. I had a guy, when I first started my custody battle, there's a guy I liked and respected. He played football for the University of Washington. He was a record setter. He's one of the best punt returners in the nation. I was talking to him and I said, I don't know why she's doing this. He goes, because women are evil. And like I said, I always loved women. I had 3 sisters growing up and a mom. And I got along, my church community that I was around. When in college, I was around a group of people, including my baby's mom. We were around each other all the time. We were in each other's face. When we didn't have church events, we'd go to a Seattle Mariners game, Husky football game, movies, Red Robin, whatever. We'd be out doing whatever. And so we were around each other all the time. And anyway, and I got along with all the women in there, but I was a nice guy, but amongst a bunch of alpha males and guys who played football. And they, sometimes they disrespected me because I was a nice guy, but, so I always got along. So anyway, when this guy said, "Oh, women are evil," I mean, I had dealt with women disrespecting me. I just let it roll off. Like, I didn't stress about people not liking me, having an attitude. Just let it roll off, because like, that's your problem. I'm not going to add stress to my life because of that. But when somebody tried to take my daughter from me, that's when all hell broke loose with the war and everything. But I realized that women are way more conniving. Men are drama free. There's plenty of narcissistic men out there, abusive men, but there's conniving, wicked, evil women. And one of my sisters has Down syndrome. My other two sisters, they always hated women. They hated dealing with women, being around them, working with them. And the more I know about women, and the more I even work with women in family court, mostly all women hate women. Women were created to be a helpmate to a man, so they kind of gravitate to that. I'm not sure they were really created to really kick it with women all the time, because they seem to hate it. Actually, the comedian Bill Burr, when he does his little rant about the WNBA and feminists are out supporting it and nobody wants to watch women's basketball and it's boring, and the NBA subsidized the WNBA, he goes off and says, where the hell were you feminists? You're blaming me for not supporting you. You hate men, and then you turn around and say you're supposed to support us. Where's the women supporting you? And then he turns to the crowd and said, "Women, name your 5 favorite WNBA teams. Name the WNBA team in your city. Name one player. You can't. You don't care. But you'll watch the Kardashians and all these whores making money fighting with each other because that's what you like, because you guys hate each other." And he makes a great point about that kind of stuff. You guys don't even like each other. You'd rather watch each other fight each other than watch a WNBA team come together and do a team exercise and coming together to try and accomplish the same goal. Women don't want that. They're dividers. They want to destroy, usurp, all that other stuff. Unless they're put in check and held accountable and in their place, like a Dennis Rodman or Terrell Owens, they cause chemistry problems on a team, being toxic or doing their own thing or being divas and wanting attention and stuff like that. But when somebody can hold them in check and they get in line and they play their role and stay in their lane, they're great. So anyway, that's women. That's not a knock on women. Women have a role, men have a role. If they get outside their role, then things are chaotic. The whole universe has an order. If stuff gets out of order, if a comet comes through by Earth and disrupts stuff, it gets out of order. We're supposed to just go around the sun the way that we do. Or if you're driving down the street and everybody runs a red light, it's out of order. Everything's supposed to be orderly. If there's no order, then there's total chaos. There's an order to the family. If it gets out of order, then there's total chaos. Anyway, I'm probably rambling about stuff nobody cares about. Let's see. James is a little harsh, but you have to be, because it will be a pussy channel like the Father's Rights Movement. And I haven't the last thing I dealt with the Father's Rights Movement after I had that Idaho experience where the guy told a guy to send his kid back to the mom who has a pedophile boyfriend. I haven't really seen it. I think I've been on a couple times. I'll make comments and then people, same old thing. The one thing I did recently was the guy, gosh, I think his name is Carlos, Hispanic guy, Dad Talk Today. Watch that guy's videos. He has cool, informative stuff. But again, he has 100,000 followers or a couple 100,000 because all he talks about is how the family court system sucks and everybody just wants to whine and cry. And if I did that, I'd have 500,000 followers by now. But I'm not doing that. I'm telling everybody what the answer is to fix it, and it takes people to do it. Only 1% of people want to do that. But Dad Talk today, is his name Carlos? I sent him a message. I said, dude, why do you only have negative stories? Why don't you have guys who have won in court and stop feeding the hopelessness? It was a legit criticism. I wasn't even telling him to have me on. You know, he's not as big as Pearl from Pearly Things. Pearl had me on. This guy didn't have me on, but he blocked me from him because I asked him that question. Why the hell would you block me when I said, why don't you have some positive guys who won instead of just all negative stories and feeding hopelessness? Child support sucks. Here's another story of a guy getting screwed. They're getting screwed and they're getting screwed. We need reform to get screwed. What's the reform you need? You don't even have an answer for that. The only reform we need is to fix these judges' hearts, and that's by firing them specifically for their bad family court rulings. Nobody's going to do that, though, because nobody ever gets out and votes. Nobody. The one time in Seattle, Tacoma, actually, there were 2 attorneys running against corrupt judges. Fathers' rights movement groups were alerted, hey, we need you to volunteer. This target area, this voting base could flip the election and get these new attorneys in there. Nobody showed up because all the guys in these fathers' rights movement groups, a group called the Other Parent, Dads Against Discrimination, there might have been one other group out there, Fathers' Rights Movement. Nobody showed up to volunteer when it really counted, when we had a chance to fix stuff and send a message. You corrupt judges are making corrupt rulings, we're going to fire you. They won by landslide. So the real fix is not ever going to happen. Okay, so Beyond Organics Farm, you just called me every name in the book because you wouldn't read Just Rant. What the hell are you talking about, dude? You told me you don't like my tone and the way I run my page. I told you to screw off. This is what works. Then the next thing I read, you said, you know what you're talking about. Your tone is just bad, or you're a jerk, or you're an a-hole, whatever you said. Then later you said, I've dealt with 47 cases. I got custody of my kid. You don't know what you're talking about. If you're telling me I don't know what I'm talking about after 23 years of doing this, and I came in doing this, and other fathers' rights groups came in after me, and they're all gone, and I'm still here, and I've helped people win, just by the fact that I won one time in the Court of Appeals, or custody, or fought off a restraining order one time, I know what the hell I'm talking about. So for you to say, I don't know what you're talking about. I saw Dave Chappelle when he's getting interviewed at the Actors Guild, or the actors, that one guy who died. He said, you know, they call certain actors who are like raising up and criticizing Hollywood, they call them crazy, and that's the worst thing you do because it's dismissive. You dismiss somebody by calling them names, and then you discredit them because you don't know how to deal with them. So you said, I don't know what I'm talking about after already saying I know what I'm talking about. So I saw enough. I don't have to read your dumbass book of female diatribe, ramblings, and rantings. You should have just got to the point of what your problem is. You have been so kind to a fellow warrior. My headache just passed. 12 with you? Good luck, you angry little man. Say you're a bitch-made little faggot. You can screw off. If you're coming on my page to criticize me for a legit reason. James, I don't like your tone. Oh, well, I'm outraged. See, you're a faggot bitch because I'm outraged at children being trafficked in family court. And I'm outraged at men's pathetic excuses for not rescuing and fighting for their own kids when I've been fighting for and helping thousands of kids. And then you're sitting here talking about I'm an angry little man because you don't like my tone and you don't like me being outraged. And then you just sit here and said I was nice to a fellow warrior. If somebody called me up and got a consult with me, I'm nice to everybody in a consult. Now, there's a couple times I've gotten in maybe heated situations with a consult because the guy is telling me like you can't do this over and over again. I'm like, yes, you can. Like, no, he can't. Or stuff like that. I have to talk to him like a little kid because he's acting like a little kid saying, I can't, whine and cry. 99.9% of the time, a consult goes smooth, professional, all this other stuff. You came on my YouTube page talking shit to me. If you're going to talk shit, say something accurate. Can't even read your own chat. You bitch made attention whore little diva fruity gay boy. You think that you're entitled, like a woman, for me to listen to all your rantings. All I saw, I started reading, you said some dumbass bullshit, and I addressed it. And now you're mad. See, you're mad because you don't like the way that I talk because it hurts your feelings. Then you're mad that I didn't read every word that you feel entitled to like a welfare female because I'm supposed to cater to your feelings like you and I are married. Get off your diva bitch perch. And then they say, oh, you were nice to somebody else. Yeah, I'm nice to everybody who wants to reach out to me. When I'm on here and I got countless critics and haters and people talking about, let's just be honest. I'm the only one with any answers that are putting them out there for free as much as I do out here. If you can find somebody that's doing more than me, feel free to correct me. I'm not above correction. I've been wrong before, but what I'm doing works. And when people repeatedly say it doesn't work, you don't know what you're doing, you're a jerk, I don't like your tone, you can F off and go to your little bitch made father's rights movement meeting. Get off my page. I'm going to post a video in the YouTube shorts where there's an alpha male, big buff dude who is fat, depressed, out of shape, and he has a podcast now, and he tells people, we're not here hanging with the losers, you little bitches. Come on board on the winning train where we overcome problems and we fight them like real men do. I'm not going to wallow in the mud or the muck or mire. I'm not going to be at the bottom of the barrel, stuck with the vermin and the cesspool of loser, depressed, whining, crying, bitch-made feminine males with a whining, crying attitude. I refuse to engage with it and wallow in it and entertain it. Now, sometimes I'll do a video like this when a dumbass like the guy, I forget what his name is now, Joseph or something, when a dumbass like the guy says that I'm lying when I didn't lie and he just couldn't follow along my video and he just made up some bullcrap. And he's saving a text. So he called. So he's on an agenda. So either he's on an agenda or he got butt hurt. And so he's trying to destroy me, which you can't do. Even if I am destroyed again. So I can't lose. And I'm not in a competition to try and win anything. I'm trying to correct some stupid ass feminine, radical feminist, gay bullshit that you fruity little gay boys believe because you're raised by single moms and you feel entitled to all this bullshit. You feel entitled to me talking to you like a little tender, little flowery little girl that you are, and you can't man up like a 12-year-old boy nowadays will get cussed out by a football coach and they will man up and they will get better and they will go out and play harder. I tell you, grow some balls and fight for your kid. And you're like, oh, you're such a jerk. I can't. That's the wrong way to do it. I don't like that. It's going to hurt your business. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to be fake and phony and do the business world bullcrap MO of being a snake oil salesman and trying to hustle and sell you. It's raw and it's real and it is what it is and it's worked for thousands of people. If you don't want it, get off my page. And if you're mad that I'm not suckered in to your little passive-aggressive, feminine, nagging wife type of feminine energy, Jezebel control freak bullshit, that's your problem. I don't get why people even engage with me like that. Like he should have been done saying, look, man, you can run your business the way you want. I just don't think it's professional. So what? Why do you care? I'm supposed to be out here in Seattle, Washington, living my life according to some dumbass who came on my YouTube channel and said, I don't like the way you're running your business. Your bitch-made punk-ass little fruity gay boy, limp-wristed, cowardly mentality would not survive what I'm doing for a year. Maybe I didn't post it yet. Malibu Dallas is the #1 guy fighting CPS. He just did a video and he was all nice about it, saying, look, I love my clients. I love helping you guys out. But some of you guys are so disrespectful. You'll call me from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., sometimes 2, 3 in the morning. You feel once I come on board, you're entitled to me to be on call 24 hours. And us advocates have to have a life. We have to be able to decompress. And you guys don't let us do it. We're overworked and underpaid. You know, I got jammed up. Everybody wanted an appointment with me on Tuesday. I don't think I've had like one appointment since Tuesday. So I'll go days without an appointment, and you know, I make enough to survive. And I upped my rates recently because I'm realizing how underpaid I am, how I can't survive, and how people are spending $10,000 on attorneys, and they're saying I could barely get, you know, whatever to you or whatever, and then they're like, I'll go call my attorney. Lying like a bitch, saying that my stuff's expensive, trying to guilt trip me into selling you something cheaper, and your attorney's not even helping you. You know, so Malibu Dallas is sitting here saying, like, we're overworked and underpaid, and we're helping you guys out because we care about kids, and you guys just shit on us all the time and our time and disrespect our time. And he put it really nicely. I'm going to post that video. So I'm not the only one. Like, I know a family law attorney. She's really good, and she wanted to fight for fathers, and she's getting out of it after 7 years. She only lasted 1/3 the length I lasted because she's sick and tired of people calling her all hours of the night, complaining, wanting free stuff I talk about you guys doing all the time. If you want to fight, you will call me up, get the information, figure out how to fight, and you will go do it. The average person, if they do get an appointment with me, they want to follow up and give me a text message. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And they want another free hour of my time. And 20 people do that a week. And this organic farm little bitch, his punk ass is sitting there telling me how to run this business. Dude, you would be suicidal if you were in my position for 3 months probably. You can F off. And I don't know who your friend is, or whatever. You said fellow warrior. If you're a part of a group that promoted me or something like that, then so I'm supposed to walk around and make sure I have a thermometer on everybody's little feelings and making everybody feel good. Or do I get to come here and tell people this is what worked for me? If you don't want to fight this way, you're a coward. And then you just want to cling to that. And you want to make it your weak agenda, your agenda all night long to try and convince me to think differently. Why do you give a shit? Why are you even on my page? Go somewhere else. I won, like, I have to say it again. I won my case. Let's say you win your argument in some delusional Twilight Zone world. You can't win with me because, first of all, I'm right about this stuff. Second of all, I mean, when somebody has an opinion on what works and how they feel, they can't be wrong if they say this is my opinion, but I also have facts to back it up. Thousands of guys winning in court, including myself. And I'm saying this is what works. And I'm saying the only thing that stops guys from doing this stuff is when guys are scared. And they're not just scared. They're punk, sissy, wimpy cowards. And I call them pussies because their children's life. You created the children that are in your life. A mother is trying to steal your children. And so you're such a punk-ass little bitch-made pussy that you can't fight for your children so they have a better life. You give in to a narcissistic, control freak, child-abusing alienator because it hurts your feelings to have to fight. You are a total pussy and you are not a protector. You're not a real man. That's what's wrong with society today. Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and other guys like that have put it out there now. Well, guys don't have to be scared to talk bad about women because there's women like Pearl. There's this really pretty light-skinned black lady who has her own show, and she talks about this stuff on YouTube. Gosh, what's her name? But there's regular feminine men, like Pearl will admit she's not the cutest woman in the world, but there's very pretty feminine women who are sick of the way women treat men. It's a wide open door to be able to bash women and tell them what's really going on. And you're still a pussy about it. And you can't do it in court when the law allows you to do it. You are the epitome of you embody the problem with the father's rights movement, and you're complaining about things not changing, and you're not doing jack squat to change it because you're a pussy ass little bitch. And you get mad at me for calling you that. If I'm a soldier, if I'm a teammate on a football team and you're half-assing it down the field and I need you to block for me, I will tell you to get your ass in gear and block. Peyton Manning was chewing out his lineman one time, and they got mad at him. And it's like, dude, I'm the captain of the ship. Just thought of another example. I mean, there's all kinds of examples in sports and in business where men will chew out somebody that's subordinate, and they got to get in line, they got to fix it, and they man up. In the military, it happens all the time. How come you can't freaking get this when it comes to your kids? You're a pussy-ass little faggoty bitch. There's nothing else to it. And you guys say, I've been going through a lot, and now you're just kicking me down. I'm trying to wake you the hell up. If you have cancer, or if you have diabetes, and you're eating sugar all day, I had a roommate who had, he eventually had to have a kidney transplant. And he was depressed, and he'd eat pizza and cheese and things like that would trigger his kidney problems. And some of us at some point said, dude, you're going to die unless you get off your ass and start eating food that's good for you. So at some time, you got to choose somebody out. And you just sit by, and I'm supposed to just sit by and stand by and watch. All these guys, their number one problem is what a pussy they are, and not tell them that that's their number one problem and that they can fix it. Like, I'm sitting here offering hope to the hopeless, and then when your actual problem is your own cowardice, and then I call it what it is, I'm supposed to gently and sweetly tell you, look, you're a little bit scared, you don't need to be scared, and this and that. How the hell is that going to really encourage a guy to like man up and become a warrior? You either are or you aren't. For those of you guys fighting me and arguing me over this, you are the pussy-ass bitches that make up the father's rights movement sissies that created the system that we have. When people lay down and are silent, that's when evil people take over. You lay down and you're silent. If I go out and protest my judge in the neighborhood, 100 of you pussy-ass bitches like, oh my God, you didn't get arrested? Oh my God. And I'm right here in front of your face, and I'm not in jail right now, and you're paranoid. It disturbs you in your little crotch, and you suffer a labia injury by me even talking about standing up to a judge and exercising my free speech right. And you got a gun because you exercise your Second Amendment right. You never let anybody in your house without a warrant. But then when it comes up to standing up to a judge or a mom, you got a labia injury and you're on injured reserve because just even thinking about that breaks your little pussy ass heart. It's freaking insane. And if you think I'm crazy, fine, think I'm crazy. Go somewhere else, bitch. No bitches allowed up in here. Now, if you've been a coward, like I let my baby's mom punk me a couple times, and then I would stand up to her because, I'm a pretty good debater. I always have been. That helped me in court. But I also have some damn common sense, since I could catch her when she's being a hypocrite. But again, when it came time, when she withheld the child from me, I was scared to death to go to court. I was nervous when I went to court, and then I realized it wasn't that bad. Just like pregame jitters, you shake them off, and then you're in the middle of the battle. You're not scared anymore. You hit somebody looks bigger than you run down the field and you hit them, and like, oh, that wasn't so bad. You get hit by Mike Tyson, oh God, that hurt. But here I am standing, let me swing back. Unless you're Michael Spinks, you get knocked out in 40 seconds or whatever it was. So, anyway, the view count's going down. I'm going to jump off here. I guess my last point was like, you could be a coward and repent of your ways. You could be evil. You could be a player. You could be a user of women. You could be a whore. You could have an anger problem. You could be violent. You could be a drug addict, and you can fix your ways. You could be a cowardly punk ass bitch and be the scaredy lion in the Wizard of Oz, and you could get a heart. But really, it's all a choice. People are like, oh, you were so brave in your kid. I wasn't brave. I made a choice to go through it. People who go through the grind of going through law school, med school, losing weight, a weight loss journey, applying for a job, doing a sales pitch if you're a salesman, and it's the biggest sales pitch of your career, and you can lose your job if you don't pull through with it, or this is the biggest thing and it's intimidating, and you're going in front of a bunch of CEOs. There's all kinds of stuff we do every day, and we're scared, but we go anyway. If you're scared because of the possibility of failure, don't go outside, bitch. There's 300 million viruses floating around every day that God's protecting us from. You could die from that. You could get in a car crash. If you're that scared to go to court, when you're allowed to go to court and make oral argument and attack the credibility of witness and confront witnesses, and there's a prevailing party, there's a losing party. Everything about court and the language of it talks about it being an adversarial battle. Why would you be scared to go in there and say, I can't battle in the courtroom where there's a battle? Every movie, Law and Order, everything you see, it's a competition. They're adamantly and passionately arguing. And your punk ass bitch made fruity little coward stance is, I got to go in there and play Mr. Nice Guy. Where in the law does it say whoever acts nicer in court wins? If you're trying to prove somebody committed murder, you have to prove a dead body, they committed the dead body, they caused the dead body, and they had intent. You will go in there and show a bunch of evidence of intent. You wouldn't dance around it and hope that you being a nice prosecutor wins it over. You have to prove the intent. If you want custody or 50-50, you got to prove this person alienated, withheld. So you got to call a spade a spade. What the hell is so problematic about that? What's so confusing about that? You got to be a total dumbass, airheaded, brainless, undeveloped, unevolved Neanderthal or a zombie who had a lobotomy to not understand this. Yet you will still go through with it. Why? Because fear will make somebody run when nobody's pursuing them. Fear will cause you to act abnormally. Decide, this is what this says, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm afraid to go to the gym, people will laugh at me. I'm going to the gym anyway. I need to do it for my own health. I walk in, people see me for 40 minutes, and then they don't see me anymore. I have to live with myself the other 23 hours of the day. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. That's what non-bitches do. And actually, there's a bunch of fat people go to the gym anyway, and the average person who was in the gym was either there before, or they empathize with you, or they admire you for coming in and just doing it. And they realize, I mean, your paranoia in your own head is your own paranoia in your own head. And it's a delusional reality. And you need to snap the hell out of it. And there's no nice way to tell you to do it. If you want a nice way, see, your little nicety nice bitch made outlook on it, be nice in court. You need to talk nice to me. Nice this and that. When your kids were robbed from you, were they being nice, dumbass? You're in a war. Let's go to war. That should be enough for tonight.